beauty of a day here on this Friday, and we've got a great matchup. Moeller and Badin next on Chatterbox Live. Along with the mighty one, Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff. Tim, thanks for joining us. Week number 5 of this baseball season, and partner, we got a beauty on tap, not just on a day, 77 degrees at game time. We got a beauty of a matchup. Number 1, Moeller in Division 1. Number 3, Badin in Division 2.
Yeah, two great teams, two teams that haven't played in a couple of years now. Getting a good chance to see two of the best teams in the entire state go at it.
Coming into this ball game, the Rams got a 5-inning run roll win over Covington Catholic last Tuesday, winning in 12-2. Eric Rawlings went the distance on a 2-hitter, striking out 8 for the win. Meanwhile, the Crusaders got a complete game 5-hitter from Toby Huber yesterday, defeating Sanex 7-2. Huber also produced at the plate, going 2 for 3, 2 steals and 3 runs. So it's quite a matchup, especially at the top, as we'll look to get the nation's anthem in here shortly. So why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have the first pitch here on Chatterbox Live. Today's bound opponents between Badin and Moeller are a couple of right-handers. Nick Copenhaver will go for Badin. No record here on the year with a 3 ERA. Nate Garkey on the other side will toe the rubber for the Crusaders of Moeller. He's got no ERA and a 1-0 record here so far. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups here in this ball game. First, for visiting Moeller, their head coach is Tim Held in his 15th year. Moeller is 10-1. They are 4-1 in the GCL South. CJ Richard will lead off, playing center field. Batting 2, and at second base, Toby Huber. Nate Early is in the 3-hole at first base. Batting cleanup is at the third baseman. He's Blaine Schmidt. Charlie Niehaus is at shortstop, batting 5th. The 6th-hole hitter is Nathan Manley. He's the catcher. Zach Hardy is the DH, batting 7th. Griff Cady is the left fielder, batting 8th. And Keelan Daniel is the right fielder, batting 9th. Once more, it's Richard, Huber, and Early at the top of the lineup. Schmidt, Niehaus, and Manley in the middle. Cardy, Cady, and Daniel at the end of the lineup. The Badin Rams are led by Brian Treadway in his 10th year. Lucas Moore will lead off, playing center field, batting 2nd. And catching today is Jimmy Nugent. Landon Viderick will bat 3rd. He's the shortstop. Batting cleanup is the left fielder, Rodney Rachel. Caleb Chorley's at first base, batting 5th. The 6th-hole hitter is Cooper Fear. He's the 3rd baseman. At second base, it's Diego DiCello, batting 7th. Batting 8th is the DH, Brady Emhoff, and batting 9th is Bryson Fox in right field. Moore, Nugent, Viderick, the top 3. Rachel, Chorley, Fear in the middle. DiCello, Emhoff, and Fox at the bottom of the lineup. And we bring you back in, Reid Mouse. And again, when you had brought up the idea that this game was on the schedule last Monday, my week slowed down completely like a kid waiting for Christmas.
So this is your two teams that used to play every single season and oftentimes would play multiple times because they would both take long tournament runs. They normally play each other once again in the tournament as a tune-up before either the regional or state tournament. In the past few years, they've kind of ended their yearly game, and you know what? Luck brought them together, and they're going to play here on this beautiful Friday night. It's the first time I'm going to get to see Nick Copenhaver on the mounds.
Nick, a big, tall left-hander at 6'2", stands in against C.J. Richard. Here's the game's first pitch. Bunt shown inside, and we're underway here at Alumni Field. Game time temperature 77 degrees, 31 degrees humidity. The wind southwest at 7 degrees or 7 miles per hour. It's a little bit of a swirl here in the ballpark. Ball 1 to Richard. And the fastball caught the outside corner, and we even up. Today's home plate umpire is Wayne Daggs. The base umpire is Bruce Meyer. 1-1.
This is a lively arm from Nick Copenhaver. Like I said, first time I've seen it, and the ball just jumps out of his hands.
Oh, and there's a little two-seamer there that drops in, 1-2.
It's a guy who's a Division I commit going out West Coast, and obviously they saw some talent out of him. I can see it just watching him warm up and how much potential he has, and hope he has a great season. Hasn't got on the mound much this year.
Here's the 1-2 offering. Oh, it just missed. A little slide piece off the plate, 2-2.
Wow. I don't know where that one missed. Must have just missed down, I guess?
Yes.
Don't know how.
Maybe a hair below the knees from our press box view. 2-2. It's in the air to center field. Lucas Moore draws a bead for the game's first out.
That's a great job by C.J. Richard. Great pitch, tight break on the slider, on the two-strike slider, but just stayed right with it, sent it out to right center field. Nice swing, just hit it right to Lucas Moore.
We mentioned that he has a good repertoire, and if you look here on Copenhagen, what is it, a 4-pitch mix that'll top out at 92?
Right. You know, a lot of pitchers, high school pitchers, they have a 4-pitch mix, but they stick to 2 pitches. You know, Nick Copenhagen, he's got a true 4-pitch mix. He's going to use a lot of them. Really sticks with the 2-seam more often than not over the 4-seam, as you can see the run and the arm angle that he comes with. Just a lot more lively of a fastball. You'll see that more than his 4-seam, but still just great stuff all the way around.
Toby Huber's a 400 hitter. Strike one on him, the right-handed batter. Pitched yesterday, got the win, and just like that, young Mr. Huber is down 0-2.
What it appears here early in the ball game is the top of the zone is open, but the bottom of the zone hasn't been shown through the first batter and a half.
Huber deep in a hole, 0-2 to Copenhagen. Here it comes. Fastball rides in, 1-2.
He's working that fastball, and it's getting on you in a hurry. You know, the nice first warm day, true warm day of the spring. The ball's going to become live out of the pitcher's hands.
In talking with both head coaches, Tim Held and Brian Treadway, they were ecstatic to play today. Fastball missing away, and the count evens up. So we saw fastballs for strikes and now fastballs for balls off the plate, 2-2. Huber to be followed by Nate Early, and should anybody get on, it'll be Blaine Schmidt. 2-2 the count to Toby Huber. He waits. The pitch from Copenhagen is strike 3 swinging, 2 down.
Heavy dose of fastballs. That entire at-bat just challenging Huber, and Huber just couldn't catch up to the hard stuff.
Nate Early is a 3-hole batter. He is hitting .389 this year, has scored 9 times, has stolen 6 bases, has driven in 6. So Copenhagen has been routine here to start things off. As the lefty batter, the slugger and Early checks in as he waits on the first pitch, and that slide piece, that's a beauty. That had 2-plane break, and it's strike 1.
Yeah, you saw it just basically stop on a dime and change directions about 40 feet to the plate. Great first pitch to Early.
Fastball missing away, 1-1. Fastball, 2-seam, 4-seam, slider, and changeup. That's the repertoire. He'll top out at 92. One of the things that he's been working on is getting greater rotation on the hips. Here's the 1-1. Fastball, it's in the air, fouled and out of play, 1-2.
I like the challenge there. You know, he's been throwing a lot of fastball, but he's been putting on his hands right here. I would have figured that he was going slider in on the inside half, fastball on the outside, but really challenged him up and in on the hands.
Well, does a 2-seamer work in as like a cutter here to the left-hand batter?
2-seamer would run away from the left-handed batter. So I think of a cutter as coming in. You know, Mariano Rivera having so much success against lefties.
The 1-2 from Copenhagen. A waste pitch outside. We break even.
Yeah, tried the off-speed there. Try to pull the string on the changeup. Gave a good look. Almost the exact same tunnel that he throws the fastball out of, which could be deceiving when you're a hitter there. You've got to recognize the spin almost immediately, or you're going to be fooled by the change of speeds.
2-2 the count to Early. Fastball rides high, we go full. The defense for Badin. Rodney Rachel in left, Lucas Moore in center, Bryson Fox in right. Cooper Fear at third, Landon Viderick the shortstop, Diego DiCello at second, Caleb Chorley at first, Jimmy Nugent catches Nick Copenhagen. Full count, here's the payoff. And it's in the air to deep right field. Fox has a bead on it, and the side's retired in order, inning over. The first 3 set aside in order, and we head to the bottom of the first. Badin coming up here on Chatterbox Live. To the bottom of the first we go. No score as Badin will be on the attack. They are 7-1 this year, 4-0 in the GCL co-ed. And in looking at these two teams, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, Reid Mouse, at the top of the broadcast. There's a bit of a history lesson and a real need for Badin to win this one.
Yeah, so they've been playing, as we mentioned, there was a hiatus where they didn't play, but they played every year. To my knowledge, Badin has only beaten Moeller 1 time this century. Now, there was a little bit of success in the 90s, but in the 2000s, there was, a bit of a, Moeller's won back in 2009, I believe, was the last time that they won. But since then, it's been a strictly Moeller-centric. And what do you guess? Because they're one of either the best or the second best program in the entire state of Ohio.
Well, Moeller is Moeller, right?
Right.
I think there's, if you're familiar with Xavier Musketeer basketball history, Pete Gillen used to coach the Musketeers back in the 80s and 90s. And
sure.
when talking about facing Duke, his reply was, well, Duke is Duke. Moeller is indeed Moeller.
Sure. Yeah, so Badin thinks of themselves, and rightfully so, as one of the premier programs in all of Ohio. You see all the banners in the outfield, and they've earned that respect. But they want to be on the same pedigree as this Moeller team, and until guys like Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Larkin come walking through the halls of Stephen T. Badin, it's probably not going to get there anytime soon.
The full wind from Nate Garkey, and the first pitch is a fastball that catches the corner. So says Wayne Daggs, 0-1. Lucas Moore's a .318 hitter. He scored 15 times. He has stolen 10 bases. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball rides high, 1-1.
You can't really see right now, but he's got new cleats on today. Those came fresh in the mail today. I was here earlier. He was bragging about them. Paid a whole $270, he said.
Mercy. And a little slide piece downstairs, 2-1.
Now, I'll be honest, I don't think I had $270 when I was back in high school to just blow on shoes too often, but
when I was working full-time in radio partner, I don't think I had $270 either. Fastball rides away, 3-1. Griff Cady in left, C.J. Richard in center, Keelan Daniel in right, and we'll give you the rest here after this pitch. 3-1 to Lucas Moore, swing and a miss, and we go full. From third to first around the horn, Blaine Schmidt, Charlie Niehaus, Toby Huber, and Nate Early. Nathan Manley catches today's pitcher, Nate Garkey. Way outside, and Lucas Moore works a full count pitch and is on base, and we'll see if he goes after stolen base number 11.
Yeah, he's a good first base runner. I mean, he steals. He had over 50, near 50 last year. He's going to be a threat on the base paths. It's a good first base runner to get on for Badin.
Officially 51 last year for the running Rams, and they were well north of the 200 steal mark. I think you and I witnessed the 200 steal, I believe, at Kings. It was the game against New Lebanon, and a line drive caught by the shortstop. The throw back to first, and it's in time. That's a double play. 6-3 on the twin killing. Mercy.
I don't know about that call out at first base, but what a play. Man, what a play. Jimmy Nugent just hit it on the screws. Fully extended out there was Niehaus and just threw a dime over to first base. I think Moore might have got back there in time, but regardless, we don't have replay at this level. Right, officially. So 2 outs.
And Landon Viderick is the hitter, 417 hitter. Has scored 11 times this year, and he lines one into deep right field. Back to the warning track goes the right fielder, and catching up into it is Keelan Daniel. The side's retired. 3 up, 3 down as we head to the second. No score between Moeller and Badin here on Chatterbox Live. To the second we go. No score here at Alumni Field in Fairfield. Along with the mighty one, Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff Kim. Our thanks to our producer this afternoon, Justin Thomas. And running camera for us here this afternoon, John Abney. So a full boat here, as you see right now, today's starting pitcher. And Reid, he had a wonderful first frame here of this ball game.
Yeah, I find myself in more and more spring games that I'm seeing being impressed with the arms that I'm seeing. Nick Copenhaver's just got a live arm. I've heard a lot about him just being around Badin, how good of a pitcher he is. Lengthy guy, got a lot of power in that right arm. And what impresses me the most is how it just jumps out of his arm. It seems so effortless. When pitchers seem effortless on the mound, those are the guys with the highest potential, highest ceiling.
Washington State commit had pitched 2 innings his last time out against Marlington back on the 16th. 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a no decision in that ball game. 4, 5, and 6 coming up. Here's Blaine Schmidt, 300 hitter, as he takes a called strike. So says Wayne Daggs, the home plate umpire, 0-1.
Blaine Schmidt, a stocky guy, very stout from the right side. Good third baseman, had a good start to the year so far.
This one rides just a bit inside, but it missed the corner, 1-1.
Can't do a whole lot with that at the plate. It was close to being called a strike, just probably right on the edge, but such a great pitch by Copenhagen.
Swing and a miss. Boy, that was the high cheese right there, 1-2.
They're challenging him. He's challenging these Moeller hitters and giving them almost unhittable pitches, and they're being overly eager at the beginning of these at-bats. And what he's doing well is he's getting ahead of them to challenge them with those out-of-the-zone pitches.
You waste one outside. I think it got away from him a little bit more. You saw the follow-through here by the pitcher, and it looked like he had a little extra in the follow-through, like he almost slipped off the mound. 2-2 the count to Schmidt. Here he comes. He rung him up. Strike 3 call.
Yeah, same pitch that he threw earlier in that bat, just a little higher. He learned the lesson that he's got to get it breaking earlier, and it's got to get over the zone, and he did just that with the 2-2 strikeout.
Second strikeout of the ball game. Nick Copenhagen, by the way, coming into this ball game, this is his third start. He had 7 innings coming in. He gave up 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 7 walks, and 10 strikeouts. We had mentioned the 3 earned run average. No record, and as the fastball rides high. But the alarming thing as you look at the numbers, and mind you, limited sample size, Reid.
Sure.
2 whip. He had a 2 whip.
Yeah, that's, you don't want to be giving free base paths, and that's what his problem's been.
Fastball catches the corner, 1-1.
I've also heard that sometimes his fastball runs a little flat. I'm seeing a whole lot of movement from his arm right now, and especially coming out of his arm slot. Don't see how it could be that flat, but sometimes it's just pitchers throw a light fastball.
A little changeup. It misses down and away, 2-1. To Charlie Niehaus, who's a 400 hitter. He's getting on base 54.5% of the time. And the pitch runs inside, 2-2. So right now, Wayne Dagg's strike zone seems to be a little bit wide. A little inch here inside and a little inch on the outside.
It's erratic. There's no doubt about that.
Swing and a miss.
Going back to the strike zone that we're seeing, you'll see high school umpires have an inconsistent zone when there's guys throwing harder on the mound. It's something that they're not used to seeing, right? I mean, just like hitters struggle and fielders struggle when a harder ball is hit towards you, it's something you don't see every day, so you're unfamiliar with it. You don't get as many looks with it, so it catches you by surprise at times.
Nathan Manley's a 2-out hitter, 241 hitter. He's heading to Wright State after he's done.
It's good school, good baseball school, one of the best in Ohio.
And the fastball rides right down the line, 0-1. Nishwitz Stadium is the home of Wright State Raider baseball.
It's a good stadium.
It is a hell of a stadium, and it's a really difficult place to hit a home run. This one rides to the back, 1-1, and I'll expound upon that. Their dimensions there, 330 down the lines, 400 to straightaway center, and because 444 runs behind it, there's like a little wind current that comes in. You have to hit one amazingly hard to get one out of there, and this one just a bit outside.
You can see when he gets erratic, and you actually brought it up earlier this inning. When he's throwing more erratic, it's because he's overthrowing. He's trying to get a little more umph in it, throwing more of his body into the pitch, and you saw it right there on that out and away fastball.
Infield playing at normal depth, and the fastball away, and it's 3-1. So after the first strike, it was inside that went back to the screen, outside that went to the screen, and then outside again. He's trying to find the strike zone. No score here at Alumni Field. Glad you're joining us here on Chatterbox Live. And this one inside, up and in, and Manley's a base runner. He's the first Moeller base runner here this afternoon.
Interesting pitch call there on the 3-1. He missed 3 straight fastballs, really not near the zone. and he decides to go, hey, if that's not working, let's go to the breaking pitch. Let's spin one up there. Just missed right there. We'll see what he goes first pitch to the designated hitter, Carty, here.
Zach Carty's a .364 hitter. Right-hander waits. Good size on him as he has a turn in on that one, 1-0. Zach Carty is 6'2", 210 pounds. Righty batter, bats him as he throws them. Beefy.
Big guy, big fella out there.
Line drive. Actually, it's popped up, beg your pardon. And the third baseman captures it, and that's a side. A runner left, and we have played 1.5 here at Alumni Field. It's Moeller nothing and Badin nothing here on Chatterbox Live. No score at Alumni Field as we await the middle of the order for the Badin Rams. Rodney Rachel, Caleb Shorley, and Cooper Fear. Coming up in the third inning, normally you would hear the mighty one, Reid Mouse, take over. That will not be the case. Why? Because you'll get to see his pretty mug down over at the dugout. So he'll visit with Brian Treadway in the top of the third, and on the other side to the Moeller dugout and to Tim Held in the bottom of the third. Well, you know, we'll let it be said, good-looking guys should be on camera.
Well, I don't know if we'll be on camera, but we're going to try something. We're going to see if we can, get some coaches' interviews, get some insight midway through this game, and just talk to two of the best in the biz and two of the best of the state of Ohio as they're playing each other.
Rodney Rachel will come to the plate. Big left-handed batter, and he has been hitting a ton. .435 this year, 3 doubles, 2 triples, and a home run. He homered against Cuff Calf 3 days ago. And he's got 7 stolen bases. He is a big-time power-speed combo.
He's been one of the delights to this Badin lineup so far through this season. Missed a lot because of injury last year, and been well welcomed back.
Little slide piece missing down and away to Rodney Rachel, 1-0.
When you get up close to him, you just see how strong he is.
And a long drive into deep left field, back and away back. It's off the wall. Rodney to second with a double. His 4th of the year in Mercy. He just keeps pounding away.
.870 was his slugging percentage coming into that at-bat, and you see why. We mentioned how strong he was, how strong he looks. He puts a jolt into it. Watching him take BP was a complete delight earlier today. And, man, he just hit it to the wrong part of the ballpark, hit it out at the paid appliance sign out there, pretty much the deepest part of this entire park, left center field.
Caleb Shorley has a runner in scoring position, .280 batter. He's got a home run and 15 runs batted in. He's leading the GCL co-ed in runs batted in this year. And a ground ball up the middle to the shortstop. This will move the runner over to third. And the ground ball 6-3 moves Rodney Rachel to third.
What a great first step there by Niehaus. Just working straight to his left. Good first step. Against a normal infield, that ball's going to sweep through. It was hit well enough, hit right on the screws. Luckily, he was playing shaded in just a little bit because of a runner on second base, but still just working to his left makes a great play.
Cooper Fear's the one-out batter, 182 hitter this year. Scored 4 times, has driven in a couple of runs. As he waits, he shows bunt, and he drops it foul, 0-1.
I was going to say, I didn't get a chance to. This would be a situation in which Badin typically would bunt. A guy who's struggling at the plate this year, a lot of success, a ball player, so someone that you trust to get a bunt down, and Cooper Fear didn't get it down on the first pitch.
0 for his last 6, though you and I, partner, may be a good luck charm to Cooper as we await on this pitch. I'll explain. Long wait, and a line drive in the left field. The left fielder backpedaling on it. He catches it. Rodney will come home on the sac fly. 1-0 Badin. So a sac fly for Cooper Fear, his 3rd RBI of the year, and Badin's on the board.
A leadoff double, and then Badin does a good job of just manufacturing home run. Put it on the ground, move him over to third, then put one in the air. Those are stuff that Badin practices every time that they take BP. Get them over from second, get them in from third. They did that on consecutive at-bats. That's just good fashion baseball.
So we mentioned we were a good luck charm to Cooper. That played out here on the sac fly RBI. DiCello shows bunt. Back to the pitcher. He throws over to first, and it's in time by a step but not before a run crosses. Rodney Rachel scores on a sac fly by Cooper Fear. We've got a brand new score here at Alumni Field. 1-0 in favor of Badin here on Chatterbox Live. To the third inning we go. 8-9-1 coming up for the Moeller Crusaders. They are down 1-0 here in Fairfield. Along with Reid, Mouse will be down on the field in just a moment. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. It would be trite for me to call this the game of the week. This is the game of the month for sure. This may be the regular season game of the season here between number 1 Moeller in Division 1 and number 3 Badin in Division 2. Both are only one-loss teams. Badin comes in at 7-1 and Moeller in at 10-1. They have been really superb.
Number 9.
As we go to 8-9-1 as we look for Reid Mouse down there with Brian Treadway. Well, we're trying to get Reid situated from a mic standpoint. We're not hearing him yet. And this first fastball rides away to Griff Cady, 0-1. Cady, Keelan Daniel, and C.J. Richard. And a line shot, base hit. It was by Cooper Fear before he could even react. And now let's go down to Reid Mouse. Well, we're still not hearing Reid, so we'll carry on for a little while here solo as Keelan Daniel come to the plate. His team behind 1-0 here in the visiting third inning. Keelan's a right-handed batter, as you can well see, hitting 176, right fielder. And this one behind him, it gets by to Nugent, and this one is a good old-fashioned wild pitch. So Copenhagen has been erratic, to say the least. It's Daniel waiting, Richard waiting on deck. While we're waiting, we need to say hello to Kevin Zilch. So you know Zilch is my erstwhile football partner. As Copenhagen deals, foul tipped out of the glove of Nugent. And there's a strike. So 1-1 on the wild pitch that went well behind Daniel, and then this one came inside into the strike zone. Good enough to hit, and that's where we're at. 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch, fastball downstairs, 2-1. So we mentioned Kevin Zilch. Uncle Kev, as we call him, or Archer's uncle. He's the resident Moeller baseball public address announcer when he's not busy being my tag team partner on these football broadcasts. So we thank him for helping us with some production work here coming into this ball game, allowing us to get a hold of Coach Held, and he wanted us to know that Kremchek Stadium is an absolute beauty out there.
It certainly is, Geoff. Good to be back up here in the
yeah,
dugout. Sorry you couldn't hear me down there. I think we went in the locker room and we lost connection down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? I have no doubt that it was nothing but a Pulitzer Prize award-winning interview.
It was great. I'll tell you what. We broke down the start of baseball. We figured out that Abner Doubleday wasn't even the guy that invented it.
3-1 the count to the 9-hole hitter, Keelan Daniel. And as good as the starting pitcher, Nick Copenhagen, had looked in the first inning, he's found some inconsistency here in the last couple of frames. Here's the 3-1, and the first two are on here in the visiting third. So Griff Cady got on via the base hit. The first hit of the ball game for the Crusaders. Then Keelan Daniel has reached first on a walk. So the first two are on, and it'll be interesting to see if C.J. Richard, 364 hitter in all, will put down a bunt.
Leadoff hitter put a good piece on it his first time. We'll see if he is laying down the bunt.
He's an outstanding slugger, though. 663, beg your pardon, 636 on the season so far. And no pitch as the home plate umpire Wayne Daggs walked away. Richard hit the first ever home run at Crimcheck Stadium as a Moeller Crusader. And that was just yesterday as we got a stop here, an official stop. And we'll continue on that note here as we await. And we're kind of wondering about Copenhagen right now, about his mechanics and any possible arm issues. But Richard hit the first ever home run by a Moeller Crusader at New Crimcheck Field. But the day before, St. X had a player, and see if you recognize this name. Max Clare went big fly over deep center field for their home run. And so the first home runs have now been hit over at Crimcheck Field.
Well, there we go. Great player, Max Clare. Great athlete all the way around. I was talking about Nick Copenhagen, and just, I know you didn't get to hear that interview talking with Treadway, and not to scatter around here, but one thing that he talked about Copenhagen as a pitcher was saying how this year, one area that he's really had to expand his game on, that's the mental side. Yogi Berra obviously said, 50% of the game's mental, the other, or whatever, the old Yogi Berra, Yogiism. That's something that he's going to expand his game, and this is a mental part of the game right now. You let the first two batters on, top of the order, how can you compete against the top half of Moeller's lineup?
Charlie's in at first, and Richard does show bunt, and it's inside. So Charlie over at first, he's expecting a push bunt, whereas Cooper Fear is still in the dirt. Infield actually, oddly enough, still looking for two, though to the opposite field. The 1-0 after the check of second, and a fastball, and that had a little snap to it, 1-1.
Yeah, it looked like it was down just the way that Jimmy Nugent caught the ball. He was standing up, getting ready to field the bunt, so he kind of shot his glove down, didn't give a good look to the crowd, but yeah, that got over just the bottom part of the zone. And now we'll see if Richard's going to be bunting here with one strike.
1-1 the count to C.J. Richard. Slightly open stance, as you can see, as he waits. Swing and a miss. He pulled back the string on that one. 1-2.
It's a big-time bender. Tight slider. Richard just swung over top of it. Interesting choice to go ahead swinging. I know you got one of your guys up, but just gave up a run. You'd put the tying run at third, the go-ahead run at second, already in the third inning, with the meat of your order coming up.
C.J. Richard also has some speed, and an official stop as Wayne Daggs steps away once more. C.J., as I understand it, at least according to Scott Springer from Cincinnati.com, is an Ohio State commit.
There you go. It's a big-time school. The biggest players in this state go to Ohio State, right?
Yes, and a lot of college commits, as we'll go through them here shortly. And a bouncing ball to shortstop. Fiderick to second for one. Over to first, not in time. And we have runners on the corner with one out. So 6-4 on the force play. And Richard's a base runner, and he's a stolen base threat, and he's a threat to go anytime on any count for the Crusaders.
Yeah, going back to that ground ball that we saw right there, just developed, it was a two-hopper, but Fiderick had to sit on his heels. It was hit right at the umpire out there in the field. And then a slow turn, first on the delivery to Diego DiCello, and then on the throw over to first base with C.J. Richard running down first base line. He wasn't going to get doubled up. Speaking
of speed threats, here comes Toby Huber for his second plate appearance. He struck out back in the first frame. As he waits, fastball rides in 1-0. Should he get on, it will be Nate Early. Actually, we only have one out, right? So unless there's a double plate turned, we'll see Early coming up. Runner going, and this one might have got Huber. It does.
Yeah, I think that is a foul ball. I think they're going to call a foul ball. Tim Held's going to come down here and argue that one's going to say it went off his back shoulder. But I'll tell you right now, if Huber got hit on the shoulder blade, he'd probably be down in a little bit of pain. Copenhagen throws with a little bit of velocity. I thought that hit off his bat, just the way it hit so viciously and went towards the backstop.
It's funny, Huber is staring over at the home plate umpire Wayne Daggs. He allows him to go, and the bases are loaded.
So you like a home plate umpire that's willing to admit when he's wrong. Sometimes you get umpires that are so sturgent on their call and their call alone. Sometimes they'll go out in the field and ask for help if they didn't get a great view, and now Coach Treadway is going to go out there and talk to the home plate umpire. But, the field umpire has a better view than the home plate guy oftentimes in that scenario, and it's good to get a second opinion.
We're getting a look at Nick Copenhaver. He's in a heap of trouble against this Moeller team. They hit pretty well, though maybe not as well as some would think. 297 here as a team this year, but they are slugging .418. They're getting on base 43% of the time. That's at .847 OPS. So they're doing their best to move things along, and they're averaging just about 7 1/3 runs per ball game this year. And the bases are loaded for Nate Early, who flew out to right to end things in the first frame, 0-1. Fastball rides down and in. If it was any higher, that would have been in Early's wheelhouse, 1-0.
Yeah, he put a good swing on it his first time around. Infield's going to have a double play opportunity pretty much anywhere. I imagine the corner, or at least Cooper Fear, is going to be coming home. It looks like Chorley over there at first base is going to be going to second with the left-handed swinger up.
2-0 on a pitch down and in again.
So with the left-handed batter up and a power threat and Early, Chorley's not going to play in. Bottom of the order, you might have him come in and make the play at home. He's going to play back and try and prevent a hard-hit ball from getting through.
Strike one on a foul back to the screen. 2-1 to Nate Early, with Blaine Schmidt waiting on deck. The bases are loaded. Katie at third, Richard at second, Huber at first. Fastball caught the corner, 2-2. Nice pitch.
Here comes the payoff pitch. You went two-seamer on the outside half. You really can go with pretty much anything. I'm early in this situation. I'm thinking he's going to be coming with a bender here. He's shown a lot of confidence with it this far in the game.
Time call by Nate Early. He didn't like what he was working against. And if you're Nate Early, think about your situation right here. You got somebody who's wild but has velo. So if you're going to swing, it's going to go somewhere, but you got to catch up to it first. 2-2 the count to Nate Early. Here's the pitch. Fastball down and away we go full.
Yeah, I'm surprised by the fastball there. He missed regardless, but I would have thought he would be coming with a slider. Now I'm really intrigued to see what he comes with on the full count. You almost feel like you have to go fastball here, but he's shown the slider in high-impact situations.
The pitch. Check swing. Did he go? No swing. We're tied at 1. So on a 50-50 fastball that's just above the zone, Griff Cady comes on in on a bases-loaded walk to Nate Early, and we are tied at 1.
And you never want to walk in a run. I think that was the right call in the field. I don't think he fully committed. One true telltale is whether he even began to turn his hips. He never really did, just started his hands. But now Copenhaver's in a bad way out on the mound. Needs to get an out right here. Strikeout, pop up in the infield, or a ground ball double play.
Blaine Schmidt 0 for 1. He struck out to lead things off in the second frame.
Now, when you strike out looking your first time around, you're going to be more aggressive your second at bat, looking to get his. He's got to stay patient against Copenhaver, who's struggling on the mounds.
Fastball fouled away, 0-1. It feels like, and help me out on this, partner, that Schmidt was the last batter that Copenhaver felt comfortable on the hill. He was in command of the zone through the first 4 hitters, and after that, he started nibbling. And I feel like the throw, one of the pitches that he had a little extra on, kind of changed his follow-through here since.
Well, last inning, he struck out the first 2 batters. I think he just lost a little focus on what he was doing.
Whoa, inside, and it didn't get Schmidt 1-1.
And to extrapolate on that a little further, a lot of times pitchers, they get that second out, and then they just start coasting. They're already thinking about getting back in the dugout like, I got the first 2. We're good this inning. You got to stay focused through the entire time. Until you're back in that dugout, you've got to be locked in. It's your only job on the field.
1-1 to Early. Swing and a miss, beg your pardon, to Schmidt, 1-2. Schmidt missed 4 games this season. He and Nate Early had a nasty collision in the Elder game a few weeks ago that knocked out a couple of his teeth.
Sure.
No concussion, however, on both players. Early was good to go by the next game, in fact, and Schmidt has gone back into the lineup here a couple games ago. 2-strike offering. It's popped up to shallow right field. Fox gets it, and he throws over for Nugent. Nobody moves up.
Yeah, big out right there. A weak fly ball, doesn't score a run, keeps them loaded right now, and keeps the game tied. What a challenge pitch there from Copenhagen. I thought for sure just by what we've seen of Schmidt so far this game, he's had real trouble committing to that inside breaking ball, that backdoor breaking ball. But they just challenged him with a fastball up and in and won the battle. Bryson Fox coming in, getting the ball in quickly, and we stay loaded.
The 2-out batter is Charlie Niehaus, struck out swinging his only time at the plate, 0 for 1. Oh, and a little slide piece. I think it had 2 planes written all over it, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, he's shown moments of that pitch being great. You know, tight, late break, tough to see, tough coming out of the hand, especially when he tunnels it with his 2-seam fastball.
The Washington State commit throws the fastball and misses high, a little higher than what we saw on that borderline pitch to Nate Early, and we're even up 1-1. Should Niehaus get on, it'll be Nathan Manley, the Wright State commit. Here's the 1-1 as he has to bend in on it, and it's 2-1.
You see, you hear the Badin faithful, never known to be quiet. Getting into that slider call, just missed as the home plate umpire. Working 2-1, good hitters count here for Niehaus.
The next offering is a called strike, so says Wayne Daggs, 2-2.
He's working the top of the zone. He's not working down, right? He's keeping everything up. All it takes is one of these Moeller batters to put a barrel on it and find a gap. And this game's broken open.
2-2 the count to Charlie Niehaus. Here it comes, and the bender does not bend, and we go full.
Yeah, it's a risky pitch. You know, you've already walked one runner in. You've had great success with it, so I understand why you're calling it there, but now you're working full, and one bad fastball brings in another.
Copenhagen has gone full to 3 batters, and for the second time this inning, he walks in a run. 2-1. As C.J. Richard comes in from third, Huber will move up to third. Early will move up to second, and Niehaus is a base runner for the first time today.
Nathan Manley.
When you get 4 free passes, 3 walks, 1 hit by pitch, you're gonna give some runs up.
So we talk about manufacturing runs by small ball, right?
Sure.
Little base hits and stolen bases. Never did I think that we'd see that manufactured here in this inning by walks and a hit by pitch.
You see that at the high school level, especially with a guy, you mentioned his whip. He allows a lot of base runners, and that's from being erratic. He's got the talent. He's just got to rein it in out there on the mound, and that comes with innings and innings of work. Unfortunately, at the high school level, you don't get a whole lot of innings to work with. You've got to be good early, and you got to be good throughout the entire year.
2-seamer came in straight, but swung on miss by Manley, 0-1. Should Manley get on, it'll be Zach Carty, the DH. 8th batter to come to the plate this frame, and the fastball downstairs, and we even up.
Yeah, he's working with that slider a lot. That's where he feels comfortable with that breaking ball. Chuck McKinney's the one calling pitches over there, the pitching coach. That's where he feels the most comfortable.
Waiting on the 1-1. Copenhagen deals swing and a miss on a fastball. The high cheese, 1-2.
You see what he comes with here. I used to catch for Badin, so I took signs from Coach McKinney. He favors the breaking ball in high-intensity situations. We saw it, 2 straight breaking balls to the last guy, which led to a walk. We'll see if he goes with one here on the 1-2.
Here it comes. Fastball, ring him up! but not without damage. Has 2 cross on 3 passes here in this frame, and we've got a brand new score here in Fairfield. 2-1, Moeller with the lead here on Chatterbox Live. Two to 1 here in Fairfield, along with Reid Mouse, who will hopefully get a chance to have him chat with Tim Held of Moeller here in this frame. I'm Geoff Kim. Glad to have you along here on Chatterbox Live, our game of the month, maybe our game of the season here on the platform. A beauty here today. As we had mentioned, 77 degrees. We have a few clouds in the sky, but the sun is just blazing on through, and it's a beauty here today. As we await Reid Mouse, and we see him going with Tim Held.
Hey, I'm here with Coach Tim Held. Coach, you know, you're up 2-1 in a good game. You know, you've had a great start to the season. What do you attribute the start to the season that you guys have had?
We have a lot of veterans back. I think I returned 7 hitters to the lineup and 4 or 5 pitchers. We got about 60 to 70% of our innings last year, so lots of veterans made it the beginning of the year easy, teaching the younger guys how we want to play.
Certainly. You know, Moeller is one of those programs, you know, one of the best programs, if not the best programs in the state of Ohio. How does it feel for the Crusaders to finally have a home field that is, you know, as miraculous as it is?
It's a little crazy. It's surreal at times to know that, like yesterday, we're supposed to play at X, and to be able to flip it to our place, and then to know I have a field to go practice on. It's not costing me hundreds of dollars to go rent a place. So it's pretty cool, and we can't wait till everything's there and we're fully in for a full off season and everything.
Coach, thanks for your time. I'll let you lock back in. Geoff, back to you.
Thank you, Reid. And the first pitch misses in, and so does the second, 2-0. Brady Imhoff to be fouled by Bryson Fox, and then back to the top of the lineup with Lucas Moore. So 8-9-1. Here's the 2-0, and the fastball cuts through the heart of the plate, 2-1. Imhoff is a .294 hitter. He scored 3 times this year and has driven in 3. The 2-1, and lined into right field, down the line, base hit, extra bases for Imhoff. He will make the easy turn and head into second sliding, the second double of the day for the Badin running Rams.
Right fielder Bryson.
So he got a fat pitch over the plate on a 2-1 count and went the other way with it. And we'll see if Bryson Fox, who's a .500 hitter, sacrifice himself and move up the 8-hole hitter, Brady Imhoff, to try to tie up the ball game. Second double of the game, as we had mentioned. I believe that is the first extra base hit this year for Imhoff. The liberal lead at second. Fastball rides away, 1-0. Bryson Fox is a .500 hitter this year. He's been splitting time out in the outfield with the younger brother of somebody you know very well.
Yeah, Mark Holderbach. He's been in and out, and his older brother Alex Holderbach still making it, and so is his brother Drew at the college level.
He hits away, fouled away, and we even up.
You know, walking to these dugouts, you get a feel of how good of a crowd we have here between 2 of the state's best, and, you know, people coming in droves. I feel like part of the reason is it's the first Friday that these Catholics don't have to go to a fish fry in quite some time. But why not go out to a ball game? I think I even saw Hamilton's own mayor, Pat Moeller, down there as well. Might have been working the concession stand for a second.
Fouled away, 1-2. That's beautiful. For the record, I'm not Catholic, and therefore I haven't been to a fresh.
So I'm allowed.
I haven't been to a fish fry since probably before you were born. Not that I don't like fried fish, and the double clutch by the catcher, and out.
Yeah, he dropped the ball. If the home plate umpire saw it, he absolutely dropped the ball after Brady Imhoff's shin came in to make the disruption. If the home plate umpire saw it, it'll be a quick overturn, and yes, it will be.
So a steal on the drop ball, and Brady Imhoff's at third on a stolen base.
And you see the aggressiveness from Badin. You know, there's a belief in the program in baseball that stealing third is easier than stealing second base. It's a shorter throw
for the home plate catcher.
Brady gets his first stolen base. Base hit, we're tied up. Fox delivers, and we're tied at 2.
You know, what an at-bat there. You're splitting time out in the outfield, really working to make a claim, hey, I should be in this lineup every day. And what better way than to tie it up against the state's best and the Moeller Crusaders.
Center fielder Lucas Moore.
So on a 1-2 pitch, Bryson Fox lines one back up the middle. He gets his 3rd RBI of the year, and we got a brand new ball game knotted up at 2. In talking with Brian Treadway prior to the ball game and talking about Bryson Fox, we had talked about what a luxury it is to have somebody who can get on base that much in your 9-hole. Lucas Moore, swing and a miss, nothing in 1. Little change of pace down and away. Moore walked to lead off the home first and then was erased on a double play, a line out to the shortstop, Charlie Niehaus, and he threw back to early. It was a little debatable if Moore reached first before the throw, but he was called out on the bases, and it was 2 quick outs before you knew it.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Bryson Fox moving here at some point in this at-bat. Don't be surprised if Lucas Moore doesn't lay one down as well.
Fastball, and it stays off the plate, 1-1.
Lucas Moore, one of the more outspoken guys on this Badin team. He's not afraid to josh around with you. He's one of the few Badin guys that boo me when I walk into the dugout.
Down and away, runner not going, and it's 2-1. Speaking of joshing,
Sure.
and thinking about guys who are really good locker room or clubhouse influences, there's one in the major leagues right now who's a Moeller product, a guy that you might not exactly love on the throw back to first, but I'm talking about Brent Suter, who's a reliever for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, one of the guys that you're surprised made it to. You know, a late round draft pick, a Moeller product, didn't go to a big school, but somehow just stayed around, was successful, got a bunch of guys out. Was actually played here in Hamilton at Foundation Field for the Hamilton Joes during the summer leagues, one of their shining stars that make it to the bigs, and has had a very good career.
We've talked with Tim Held about him. He did not develop that awesome Jim Carrey impression when he was here, to his knowledge, and this one filed back will do it again, 2-2. Did you get a chance to watch him on YouTube or on Intentional Talk on MLB Network? Because his Jim Carrey impression, and same with his Chris Farley impression, are just spot on.
I'll be honest. When it comes to Brent Suter, I watch as little as possible because it seems like every time he takes the mound, he's getting the Chicago Cubs out 1-2-3. So I just try to keep him out of my brain as much as possible.
Well, me trying to do my best Suter impression, all righty then. 2-2 the count. And the check over at first and backsliding is Fox. Now a little postscript on Suter as well. He had been a basketball guy and a baseball guy, so Tim Held would not get him. I'm sorry?
Good school to do both.
Yes, absolutely. Great coaches, obviously. You know, get a chance to win state titles every time out. Runner going. The throw down to second, and it kicks away from the second baseman, and in sliding is Bryson Fox with his 5th stolen base of the year.
That's the second time that Manley has thrown an absolute bullet, an absolute missile in on the tag, right where you want it to, right up the line, just barely, and right where the guy's going to be sliding in. And the shins of the base runners have taken it out, and you're seeing it looks like Niehaus is going to get checked in from our trainer, from the designated trainer out here at Alumni Field. But still, Manley's got to feel frustrated behind the dish. When you throw absolute bullets out there, you expect to get outs. But two hard slides from Badin have notched him loose.
So we still have a protracted stoppage in play. Trying to finish a point on Brent Suter. Tim Held mentioned that he didn't get a chance to have him until the very start of baseball season because basketball season would always finish so late. And so Suter would always be coming on in, and while he'd be starting and the kids would know him, it feels like that the rest of the team didn't get to know him as well because he was already playing basketball during that time of the year
Right.
Having winter practice.
It's one thing when you're playing basketball at another school and you get back, first week of March or the last week of February. It's another thing when you go to Moeller and you're playing for a state title and your first practice is the week before the first game, right? So you got to play catch up, especially when you're an arm, and that's something that is a catch-22 as a two-sport athlete when you're a batter and a pitcher, or when you're a basketball player and a pitcher is, you have the opportunity to work outside of basketball on your craft if you're a pitcher. You have a chance to get some bullpens, and it looks like we might have a substitution, or they're taping them up. But, if you're just locked in on basketball and you don't want to work on your baseball, which is just, right? I mean, if you're a basketball player, you want to focus fully on that. You don't want to go throw a bullpen after practice. Mm-hmm. Then you're playing catch-up. When everyone else has a month ahead of you of long tossing and throwing bullpens and getting live work, you're all of a sudden, you're not going to be ready to go to the second week of the season.
So Niehaus will come out of the ball game. He's the shortstop, and he got spiked in that what looked like the left wrist. We saw some shots, and we thank our cameraman John Adney for getting those shots as well as he was being tended to on the field. And we're going to have to see who's going to take his place in the lineup.
And you get a good chance now with this camera angle to see the crowd that we have but behind home plate, and just if you can't see around the entire field and you see Geoff waving in the press box there, it's a good crowd, and it's a beautiful day, beautiful Friday night, two of the best teams in the state. What else could you be doing right now? Where else are you going to go? Not to Phil Castellini it. Well, I was gonna let it slide, then he didn't catch it at first, Geoff. So
the new shortstop for Moeller is number 4, Connor Christensen.
So Connor Christensen will come into this ball game. He's been a regular second baseman. In fact, he usually sees the infield when Toby Huber comes in and pitches. So he'll play short in relief of Niehaus. I would imagine that straight up he'll bat in his spot. Garkey waits. He had a few warm-up tosses in the long break, and here comes the pitch plateward, and it's a high fly into left field, down the line and out of play. So a loud strike on a full count to Lucas Moore to reset. It's a 2-2 ball game. Bryson Fox is at second base in on a steal, his 5th stolen base of the year. Moore is nursing a full count as we speak, and he takes his time getting back into the box.
Big at bat here, especially if he can pull one, right? Put one on the right side of the field as a lefty, move the runner over to third for the middle of the order to get the lead.
The long check of second by Garkey, and he deals plateward and ball 4. So that's the second time.
The catcher,
Haven't gone into talking about
Nugent.
Garkey as a pitcher yet. And one thing that you notice of him on the mound is how much he rocks, right? Mm-hmm. He rocks back and forth when he's coming and when he's coming delivered. You see that from a lot of power pitchers. That's a way of just developing a little more extra spin on your fastball, give you a heavier fastball. But Garkey, it often messes up your mechanics, and you find inconsistencies when you're out there on the mound, especially going between the windup and the stretch.
Swing and a miss to the doubles machine, Jimmy Nugent. So he has 8 base hits coming into this ball game. He lined into a double play his last time, 0 for 1. But coming into this ball game, he had 8 base hits on the season. 6 have gone for doubles. 6.
Yeah, he gave me crap when I came into the field today because I said Braden Fraseman over at Ross was the best catcher in Butler County.
Time call by the Penn State commit. Now, to be fair on your part, I'm going to defend you because, A, you're my partner.
Well, thank you.
And there's
I'm right. So.
And there's truth to what you're saying because Fraseman did hit a walk-off.
Sure.
That I think is still going out there.
Well, Jimmy hit one out in batting practice and then kind of like swaggered on over to me like, did you see that? And I was like, well, Braden has like 4 home runs this season, so maybe when you catch up. Did he call a balk? Yeah, he did.
That's what we got here. A little delayed reaction. Fox was quick and keen to it. Moore over at first was a little slow to kind of catch up to him, but once Fox moved, then he was on the move. So now Nugent's got runners in both in scoring position.
Now, it was a balk, and that's a free pitch. If they tell you as a hitter up there, if you hear balk and you notice it and he throws it anyways, that's a freebie, right? That's the equivalent of an offsides play in football. You know, just chuck it downfield, see what you can do with it. That's when you swing out of your shoes and see if you can send one in orbit. Regardless, he just didn't come set. And it was a little of a weird play because the field umpire didn't call it dead, right? Well, you're not supposed to because it's a balk.
Garkey waits. Here's the offering, and the slider rides high, but it caught the corner, believe it or not. 0-2.
Yeah, that was a true curveball there. You saw him get over top of it, had downward spin. Didn't break a whole lot, but came down to earth right over the heart of the plate.
0-2 the count to Jimmy Nugent. He's got a chance to break the tie. Swinging a line drive! Foul! Just about a foot off the line. We'll do it again. I think he heard us, and he thought he was going to get his 7th double.
Yeah, got a good piece, pulled it right down the line. I didn't see where that one was riding in. I imagine either middle or on the inside half of the plate. Now, if I'm Moeller, I'm going something off speed and something away. You got a 2-strike count. You can kind of work with one. Maybe something even in the dirt.
And you can, to your point, you can waste one right here. And this one's a high fly into shallow left field. Griff Cady waits for it, and nobody will move as Fox will stay put at third.
Yeah, good play. I was wondering if it would have been about 15 feet deeper, 10 feet deeper, you probably would have saw Bryson Fox try to make the move on it, but just came shallow in, just didn't get enough out in the outfield to bring home the runner. Now it's going to come down to Landon Vitterick to bring these 2 runs in, though there is only 1 out.
And with that, you got Rodney Rachel waiting on deck. Do you, as a strategy here, Reid, as Vitterick steps in, do you think about not pitching to Vitterick, if you will, like throwing the unintentional walk, if you will, and then allowing Rachel to come up in a bases-loaded situation where you might get 2 for the price of 1?
It's tough. I mean, we saw Rodney Rachel put a jolt into one last time we saw it. We thought it was gone, just hit it to the deepest part of the ballpark.
So we got the base umpire, Bruce Meyer, talking with the Moeller bench.
Yeah, making sure that they stay in the dugout. Those umpires like to know that they're still out on the field. They're in charge. They like to make sure you're aware of it. But, you know, it's a tough call. Landon Vitterick put a good jolt into one. Rodney Rachel put a good jolt into one. A righty on lefty matchup. You don't want to walk a guy to the 4-hole, right? I know it opens up the potential for a double play, but I think you just go at Landon Vitterick straight up.
Little change of pace took something off of it, and it's strike 1.
Especially, it's still relatively early in the game, so you don't want to give more base runners than they've earned, right? If this is the 5th, 6th inning, then you start making a bold decision like that. You don't want to give Badin any freebies early on in the game for potential for more runs.
Garkey deals, fastball rides away, and we're even up. Badin is a .330 hitting team this year, so obviously they've picked up where they left off from a year ago. They get on base 46% of the time. They slug .469. Their OPS 931. That is beefy. As we wait on the 1-1, and stepping away is the pitcher Garkey. It seems like in the last 2 innings that basically the pitchers might as well just be working exclusively out of the stretch. The 1-1 fastball caught the corner. Beauty. 1-2.
I don't know if he's working fastball or if that's a changeup. You know, righties with really good changeups love when lefties come up because that gives them a chance to throw something that tails away from Landon Vitterick. And I don't know Garkey's repertoire, but that looks like what he's throwing against Landon Vitterick. Now the problem is what do you go with here with 2 strikes?
Fastball slurve, tops at 83 as he wastes one, and we do it again. So he'll top out at 83, and the pitch before that you mentioned, right, where I'm calling fastball, maybe you're calling a changeup, is that kind of feels like an in-between, hey, just get it over kind of a strike pitch. 1-2 the count to the 3-hole hitter, Landon Vitterick, who's driven in 9 runs this year, 4-17 hitter. Shortstop playing in just a bit. Fastball, you know what, Vitterick was a lot braver than I would have been because he took that one for a ball.
Well, that was well out of the zone, and it was actually a great take there. You know, when runners on second and third, a big situation like that, you get overly amped up in the box and you want to hit one out. It's a good leave.
2-2. He spoils one, we'll do it again. Well, and I say that, you did say that it was out of the zone. And to your point, when you see a ball up in the zone like that, your eyes can't help but get big and say, hey, I got to swing at it. Credit to Viderick to say, hey, it's not a strike and I won't swing.
He's doing a good job laying off the tight pitches that Garkey's throwing and spoiling the good ones. You start thinking, what am I going to throw this kid?
The pitch to Viderick, and that just missed off the plate. Outside, we go full. How many full counts have we seen today?
Seen quite a few of them. Really, truly have seen quite a few of them.
I know Copenhagen's thrown 3 full counts, and this is the 3rd full count here for Nate Garkey. And it's in the air, off the left side, down the line, and Katie catches it. Here comes Fox to the plate. The throw home, not in time. Badin takes the lead. So a sac fly for Landon Viderick, his 10th RBI, and Badin has a 3-2 lead.
Good job of Viderick putting a good at-bat together and getting the run in. A lot of tough pitches, challenge pitches from Garkey, but still found a way to get the run in. Now, I will say, if this is later in the ball game, not the 3rd inning, but 6th, 7th inning where that's the go-ahead run, you might let that one fall down the left field line. You might be going strictly for the strikeout or a ground ball to the third baseman. But, you got to take the outs early on in the game, especially the middle of the order.
The runner Moore holds at second, and the first pitch plateward to Rodney Rachel is a called strike, so says Wayne Daggs, 0-1. Rodney doubled to open things up in the second, came around to score the game's first run.
Coach Treadway talking with Rodney Rachel over there down the third base line. Just giving him a little chatter on what they want to do.
So prior to that double that Rodney hit, the last 4 base hits he collected in different games, mind you, but in his last 4 base hits were the cycle.
Yeah, you mentioned that in our pre-game production meeting.
And we'll step away. We'll expound upon that now. So Rachel homered against Covcath 3 days ago. He doubled against Carroll back on the 12th. He tripled against McNick in a game you and I were at back on the 7th, and he singled against McNick back on April the 4th. And then, of course, he doubled here. So ringing hits whenever he gets up to the plate. He got his 4th double his last time up as he takes downstairs.
Well, when you're filling out the lineup card before a game and you see the guy that you're slotted for cleanup is slugging .870, you feel pretty good about your chances, and that's what Rodney Rachel's put the season he has together. He's been fantastic. We mentioned a guy who was hurt last year for a great majority of the year, coming back in a fury.
Fastball. Captured the plate, cut it in 2, 1-2.
Had a little extra zip on it, didn't it?
Yes, I know Garkey has that 83-mile-an-hour fastball. That might have been 83 and then a little extra.
Yeah, it seemed maybe he just thrown so much off speed, so much off. All of a sudden, he reared back and found one that caught everybody off guard.
Well, point on fastballs if we get to continue this at bat. 1 and 2 to Rachel. The check of Moore at second. And the pitch, and it stays up. And we even up. Deuces. So the point on fastballs I want to make is I think we're so focused on velocity, radar gun speeds, but not enough on reactions by hitters, right? When you see a hitter react, taking a pitch in stunned silence, then you know that fastball's effective. Swing and a miss, and that's a side, but not without damage. 2 cross here in the frame, and we've got a brand new score here at Alumni Field. Reid Mouse will take you through the next 2 here on Chatterbox Live. We've got a fun one here in Fairfield today, 3-2, and to take you through the next 2 innings, Aristides Aquino, favorite supporter, Reid Mouse.
Thanks, Geoff. I'm glad you're a listener to my talkback segments that I've been trying to get on the air. I've had too much fun with those, but we got a good one here. 3-2 our score, top half of the 4th inning. Reid Mouse along here with Geoff Kim. 7-8-9 due up for the Moeller Crusaders as Copenhagen's out for his 4th inning of work. A back and forth affair, but both pitchers haven't been as pounding the strike zone as I'm sure their head coaches would like, but they've been just good enough and just wild enough to get the job done with some success. So we're going to see Zach Carty, Griff Caddy, and Keelan Daniel due up for the Crusaders. First fastball in here to Carney, misses on the inside half, 1-0.
Cardi and Katie. Boy, that's a mouthful, by the way.
Cardi and Katie. Sounds like the rapper Bacardi, or Cardi B. As that one's fouled back, we'll do it at 1-1. So Cardi, he's designated hitting today. Mentioned he flew out to third base his first time up, weak pop-up. Gonna do better this time around. Copenhagen still just overthrowing a bit. You see him throwing off to the side, and you know some pitchers are able to find success with that, right? I mean, able to find what works for them. Oftentimes, a pitching coach's mistake is trying to over-polish some certain pitchers. Sometimes you just got to let a guy throw, and that's what Copenhagen's doing right now. Here comes the 2-1. Chopped out to first base. Chorley will backhand it, flip it over to Copenhagen. He's going to have to be an athlete. Shows why he's going to get a scholarship at the Division I level as he jumps up, comes down on the first base, and there's one away.
Not exactly your typical routine 3-1, but that's what it's going to look like in a scorebook.
So we're to see Griff Cady due up. He led off the third inning with a base knock.
Griff Cady.
By the way, the only base knock for Moeller so far.
Sure.
Despite 2 runs on the board.
It was one I wasn't watching. I was walking back to the press box, coming back from my locker room interview with Coach Treadway, which just went out into the masses, and no one will ever hear. Just went into the abyss.
Again, it was Pulitzer Prize-winning stuff.
Right. We talked about Copenhagen and, you know, the strides that he's made as an arm, as an athlete, as he throws a breaking ball that swung on and missed, brings it to 0-1.
I think it was 0-2.
So here's Copenhagen coming set. Another breaker brings it to 0-2. Sometimes you just got to trust me. Now you had my back on Katie earlier this inning, but now we're even. Here comes the 0-2 delivery. Another bender. Doesn't get Katie to pull the trigger. And the home plate umpire doesn't either, as it missed upstairs. 1-2.
You know, I could have sworn, and this is what happens when you look at stuff and look away, that you see pitches thrown, but they're not pitches because they're just balls out of play.
1-2. Another slider. Bounces about 45 feet, and you see Copenhagen dancing off the mound. He'll come back on it now, 2-2. We'll see if he has to come at the hard stuff. And if I'm Griff Cady, that's what I'm sitting on right here. You've seen nothing but sliders to this point in the at-bat. I'm looking at nothing but the straight ball. Here comes the 2-2. And it's another slider. Fouled off. Looks like it's going to go out of play over towards the first base side. We'll do it again at 2-2. Absolutely gorgeous day out here at Alumni Field on the, I guess, the border between Fairfield and Hamilton near the Great Miami River. Field that's about, I believe it's 23 years old, 22 years old, built in either 99 or 2000. It has constant renovations since it has been built. Here comes the 2-2. Fastball finds the outside corner, rings him up for the second out. So now we'll see Keelan Daniels step in to the batter's box. He walked his first time around.
5th strikeout of the ball game, and while that's not as good as maybe what you saw on Wednesday with Nathaniel Hipsley,
sure.
When Copenhagen's on, that stuff is awfully pretty to look at. Maybe not as good as Evan Whitaker over at Lakota East, but it's awfully good.
He's got good stuff. And he's a pitcher reminiscent of Evan Whitaker. Just rears back and it comes so easily out of his hand. And I know we've been stressing how he's been overthrown, overworking. It's still when he releases it, it jumps out of there.
Whoa!
As this one comes up and in. As Daniel saw his life flash before his eyes. Do it at 1-1. Daniel, the starting right fielder. Mentioned he walked his first time around. That was just last inning. There's the bender. He didn't see the spin right out of the way. It broke out of the zone. Check swung, but it was too late. 0-2, or 1-2 rather.
Keelan's been batting out of the 9-hole all year, and if it means anything, he's been playing every day. So even though he's hit a 176 hitter.
And that is a fantastic breaking ball. Hold on to that thought, because we're going to hear it next inning. We're into the bottom half of the fourth. 3-2. Badin's going to look to add on to their lead here on Chatterbox Live. Caleb Chorley, Cooper Fear, Diego DiCello due up for the Badin Rams. 3-2 our score. It's the bottom half of the fourth inning out here on this gorgeous Friday night at Alumni Field. You see two of the best teams in the state, two of the worst uniform decision makers in the state as well.
You don't like the goldenrod?
Moeller's golden jerseys, they don't look great. Now, I'll give Badin some credit. It's not what they were pulling out last year. I think those have been burnt or sent down to the bottom of the sea with an anchor. Their white's classic to what they used to wear. Looks sharp, though.
You know what was a piece de resistance on that green-on-green pinstripe from a year ago?
Yes.
Was that you have guys like Sergio DiCello who would show off what they call the ZA, right? Where they opened up the buttons, I think, 3 deep and tried to expose the white V on the chest.
Sure. I think Sergio claimed that his buttons broke off on his jersey. But it seems like headlines would be able to get either him a new jersey or fix that buttons. Or at the very least, there's some mom on the team that I'm sure has sewing equipment that could get that job done. But regardless, we're going to see Caleb Chorley, Cooper Fear, and Diego DiCello due up. Chorley, he grounded out to shortstop last time up. Garkey's out there for another inning of work and still rocking and rolling. Out there on the mound, he misses upstairs on the breaking ball, 1-0. Had much time to sit and relax here throughout this game, as this one's going to be chopped over to third base. Schmidt has it, throws it over to first. For our first out, quick first out for the Crusaders. The bottom half of the fourth here.
You know, partner, it really does figure. Once you get back on mic on calling play-by-play, the inning just speeds up just a little bit more.
Sure. It's all right, though. I've been out here since about 1, I believe, and just been getting this broadcast ready, been interviewing coaches. It's been chaotic, but you do it because you love the sport. You love being out here. And you love both these programs as it misses upstairs. First pitch to Cooper Fear.
By the way, speaking of Cooper, of course, we know his dad, Chris, very well,
Yes.
who helped us out on the broadcast a year ago.
Breaking ball. It's in there for a called strike, and I have to apologize for Chris after the point that you're about to make.
No, not at all. Go ahead.
Okay, but I sent a tweet out about a year ago. Here comes the 1-1 from Garkey as he shakes no to Cooper. He kicks, deals, doesn't give at that breaking ball, brings it to 1-2. So I sent out a tweet asking if there was any summer ball teams that need some help coaching, because I hadn't been around baseball for a few years because of journalism, broadcasting career, just sitting on the sidelines, picking a different route. But I wanted to get into it last summer, as this fastball is fouled back. We'll do it again at 1-2. And Chris actually came out and he told me his schedule. He said, hey, we'd love to have you. He even offered me a trip we go to Myrtle Beach for the final trip of the year. You won't have to pay for it. And I ghosted him. I didn't respond to that glorious offer that he just gave me. I got swept up in other things, so I got to apologize to Chris Fear as Cooper sends one through the 4-hole, as that's a base knock with 1 out, up in his batting average from 182. He's going to get a few more points on the ticker.
He's perfect on the day. He had a sac fly to drive in the first run, back in the second. This is what I think I was alluding to, and I think we had the end of an inning before I could. We're a good luck charm to him. He did get 2 hits the last time we saw him. And, of course, as you know, as the box score will tell you, the Rockets, right? But he was 2 for 3 in that game.
Yep.
He did get hit by a pitch. Now, the good news is he did recover very well and very quickly off of that. But, I think there might be something to be said that the Fears might want young Mr. Reid Mouse and maybe this old Mr. Geoff Kim here in the booth with him.
Certainly. I would love to get Chris Fear back in the booth at some point this season, as he did a great job during the tournament run.
Well, just your luck, young Mr. Fear, the former head coach. really would love to be back with us. So if nothing else, I guess if we're doing Badin games, maybe we can spot him in for a few innings.
There's certainly one more Badin game that's on the ledger out here at Alumni Field. That'd be the Hamilton game. That ends the season, and that's always a great crowd. So maybe we'll get him back up here. So 1-0's the count to Diego DiCello. Grounded out to the pitcher his last time up. The 1-0 swung on and fouled back. You know, we talked about Mark Holderbach earlier in the ball game. He's not in the lineup, but, you know, comes from a great baseball family. His two older brothers play. One plays professionally. One plays is an All-American at Marietta. You know, Diego comes from a very similar athletic family. Sergio, Division I baseball player. His older brother Dante, who went to the NAIA World Series last year. His dad actually used to be the head basketball coach at Talawanda High School. So athletics run throughout. Diego is, I believe, labeled as the one DiCello that favors basketball over baseball.
Plays guard, of course, on the basketball team.
Yes. As the other two favored the hard ball. I believe Sergio didn't even play basketball beyond his formative years of high school. But Diego, a great athlete, and been an everyday starter out there at second base. Swings from the left side.
As we carry on with the DiCellos, you made a funny remark the last time we were here a couple weeks ago that Dante had batted from the right side. Sergio was a switch hitter. And,
right.
And the young man now here is a lefty batter.
This one's going to be hit weakly out to left center field. Underneath it's going to be Richard. He'll have the second outs.
But to finish up the point on that, you mentioned that, hey, three brothers, you have two switch hitters.
Designated hitter,
And
Inball.
it's amazing, though, in thinking about it, again, thinking about personality types, we got to know Serge here in the last few years, very loquacious, and the younger brother now, just a little bit more, Diego, a little bit more quiet. He's a little bit more...
well, it's hard to be more, I believe the adjective used is loquacious about Sergio. It's hard to outdo that, right?
Yes.
Dante was one of a quieter one at certain aspects of his life. Still playing ball out there at IU Southeast. But now stepping in is going to be Brady Imhoff. Did he have a double his last time swinging? Mm-hmm. I believe that was also my walk back from the third base dugout after talking to Coach Eld. So Brady Imhoff did have a double his first time around.
On a 2-1 pitch, he drove it to right and came around to score, and that really allowed Badin to settle in. I mean, at once Moeller had gotten the lead, you were kind of saying, uh-oh, did they give this up?
Sure.
Badin has come firing back.
So 2 away. Imhoff bunts one, pops it up. Manley's going to be underneath it. He'll have it for the third outs. So we go to the top half of the fifth inning. 3-2 our score out here at Alumni Field. Stay tuned. You're watching Chatterbox Live. Top half of the fifth inning out here at Alumni Field. Reid Mounts joined along here with Geoff Kim. Our producer, Justin Thomas, going to give us a score update from the games happening around Southwest Ohio.
Hey, thanks, Reid. Well, listen up here. We got a GCL South score right now. St. X is up 4-0 on North Canton Hoover. A little matchup between the two sides of the state there. A GMC score. Hamilton is losing right now 3-2 to Grace Christian. And then Lakota West right now up on Colerain 11-1. Back to you, Reid.
Thanks, Justin. Always nice to have a little score update, see what's happening around. And though no game might be as highly billed as this one right here.
I had called this the game of the month, if not the game of the regular season, and it has lived up to billing here so far on a one-run ball game.
It's been a good back and forth, and it's been a very, you've seen a little bit of everything. You've seen small ball, you've seen some hard hits. I haven't seen a home run, and we haven't seen an offensive explosion, haven't seen many defensive miscues, so we still got a lot of game left to see. We'll see how it goes as God Bless America just comes raining through the sky, and really, on a day like this, how can you not say God Bless America?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just absolutely beautiful. Friday in spring, watching baseball. I don't get much more Americana than that. I think I might go downstairs and get a hot dog here soon just to really cap it off. But to begin this fifth inning, we're going to see the top half of the order.
That's funny. We do see Keelan Daniel up there. I thought he had struck out looking the last time up.
Yeah, so my scorecard must be off somewhere.
So it is going to be Keelan Daniel. He hits one into the 6 hole for Landon Vitterick, who doesn't field it cleanly. He comes on over, scoops it up, but there will be a runner on first base to begin this inning. So now we're going to see C.J. Richard.
That's only the second hit of the ball game, by the way, for Moeller.
Second baseman, Toby Huber.
Yeah, depends on the scorebook, I guess.
Well, hold on. So Huber's up. That should have been Richard. We're all sorts of confused.
Did they hit out of order? Did they change their lineup around? So it is Huber up.
And it had been Conlon, I guess.
So Conlon's going to be hitting in that spot.
Hold on, we're working on this here. So
we're going to talk about Huber while Geoff tries and figures this one out. Now, we did have a substitution for the shortstop earlier in the game because he did get injured. And I think that's where we got hung up on.
So Christensen had come in, played shortstop. Now, the thing is, Daniel had started the ball game batting ninth. How does he come out and then re-enter in a different spot? See, that's the part I think I'm hung up on.
I am too. And that is according to our jersey numbers, that is Daniel out there at first base. 2-0's the count, and no one has any qualms out on the field, so I guess we'll just roll with it. 2-1's the count now to Toby Huber.
Well, the good news, if nothing else, is if you're keeping score at home with us, the order in the lineup hasn't changed, even if the names might.
So 2-1. Kicks, deals, chopped into the 6 hole. Vitterick was playing close to the second base bag for the double play. And he just chops one through, back-to-back base runners to get things going in the top half of the 5th. And now we're going to see Nate Early. Early's walked and flew out to right field, and flew out might be an understatement for the jolt he put in that ball, as it almost went out of the short porch out in right field. Copenhaver, nobody away, top half of the 5th inning. The corner's in for Badin. The middle half of the infield pinching for the double play. First pitch to Early, misses upstairs, 1-0's the counts.
Yeah, to your point, they're almost in on the grass at the corners, though it looks like Cooper Fear has backed off a bit and now is even with the bag.
Still interesting enough, Chorley's playing in front of the bag over at first base. Here comes the 1-0. This ball is fouled straight back, brings it to 1-1.
Well, to your point, right, if you're Chorley, you can do that because you have a home run threat in Early who's not going to bunt in this situation for one reason or another. I think now, with the count even as it is, I'd be surprised if he comes around and shows bunt.
So now Chorley stepping behind the base runner over at first, playing back, letting Copenhaver know, hey, I'm playing back now.
Can you have a little bit of gamesmanship over at first baseman? Like in the case of Chorley, he's played in front of the runner, now behind the runner. I'm surprised he's not to the bag yet.
This one's played back. Yeah, oftentimes a pitcher and a first baseman will have a play, often a vocal cue to associate it, something like, hey, I'm playing behind the runner here. And that means the pitcher's got to come set, count to 1, and then the first baseman's going to break to first, and you're trying to get an easy out over there at first base on a pickoff play. Here comes the 1-2. Copenhaver set, checks on the runner, fastball misses inside, brings it to 2-2.
Back to Chorley specifically for a moment, but first baseman as a whole. Typically when you see first baseman on the bag and you see a play being set up to throw over there, you might see the first baseman tap his knee with a glove.
Sure. Here comes the 2-2, the payoff pitch to Nate Early. Upstairs, brings it to full.
I think this is the 4th full count that Copenhaver has worked on today.
So runners on first and second, full count, nobody away. Big pitch here, and he walks him. Fastball misses up and away, which will load the bases
for the cleanup hitter, Blaine Schmidt. And out comes Brian Chudway to talk to his team.
While we have a break here, we mentioned about a history lesson and the long winning streak that Moeller has enjoyed. They've won 10 in a row in this series. Now, the last time Badin won in the series, you have to go back to, get this, Reid, April 27th, 2009. The Rams won at Moeller 6-4. The winning pitcher who went the distance that day, Brent McKinney.
Yeah, Brent McKinney went to Ohio State. Was a draft pick by the Pittsburgh Pirates, made it all the way up to AAA before having to hang up the spikes for good. Now he sits in the first base dugout for the Badin Rams, and we're going to see a new arm for the Badin Rams. So we're going to take a break here. Bases are juiced in the top half of the fifth. We'll be right back. You're watching Chatterbox Live. So we'll see the southpaw Luke Enderle take the mound for the Badin Rams in a tight spot, 3-2. They've got a one-run lead against the Moeller Crusaders. Geoff, what can you tell us about this southpaw?
5'8", listed at 140 pounds, a senior, making his third appearance and ending in a third so far this year. He's given up 2 hits, a run, none of them earned. Has struck out 2, has an ERA of 0, and has not earned a record or win or a loss as of yet. His last time out, he pitched against McNick on the 4th, so it's been a long while since he's been on the hill. An inning pitch, 2 hits, but no runs earned.
So he'll face off against Blaine Schmidt. Luke Enderle, side fact, while we have the time, one thing he's wanted for quite some time is a Chatterbox sweatshirt. Every time that I've seen him around town in certain scenarios, know his parents well, he says he wants one of the C-Box sweatshirts I have, and I keep telling to him, hey, I'll get you one at some point, and as JT wants one as well over here to the side. And, well, I guess this is a time to earn your stripes. Earn this Chatterbox sweatshirt. Get out of this jam. So nobody away for Blaine Schmidt. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Bases loaded, middle of the infield, playing at double play depth. Corners are in. The first pitch is going to be popped up in the infield. If it is fair, it'll be an infield fly rule. It's foul, but it'll be caught regardless by Cooper Fear over at third.
High, pop fly.
So one away, one up, one down, one pitch thrown to Blaine Schmidt and 1 out. So now stepping in, it's going to be a new batter, I believe.
Shortstop, Connor Christensen.
Connor Christensen.
I'm sorry, I'm counting up on what Copenhagen did. But yeah, he came in defensively when the starting shortstop Niehaus went out.
Certainly. 258 on the season, listed as a second baseman. So not shy as he rips one to center field. Lucas Moore is going to be underneath it. He's going to try and make the play over at third. 1 run will score, which will tie up the ball game. So Daniels scores. Everybody moves up a base, but the second out is grabbed. So Luke Enderle comes in, gets 2 outs, but the score is tied up. Runners now on second and third for Nathan Manley. Manley, he's 0 for 1. He's walked and struck out. Huber's on third. Early's on second base. The go-ahead run just 90 feet away with 2 gone. And this GCL Co-Ed, GCL South matchup between 2 of the best in the state. Reid Malmstrom along here with Geoff Kim. We're out at Alumni Field. Enderle comes set after getting the sign from Nugent. Kicks, steals, misses downstairs. 1-0's the counts. Enderle's just thrown, you mentioned it, 1 1/3 innings pitched on the young season. He's already gotten 2 outs, as this one's going to be fouled. Manley out in front of it. And one thing that Enderle's done, he's thrown a lot of strikes, right? And he's gotten first Schmidt to pop up, and then Christensen to hit a line drive. Got it in the run, but 2 outs in the first 2 pitches he thrown. Now he's trying to work out of this inning with the game tied. 1-1's the count. Nugent sets up on the inside half of the plate. Enderle off speed, gets through the 6-hole, right past the outreach glove of Cooper Fear, and the Moeller Crusaders take a 4-3 lead off the base hit of the catcher Nathan Manley.
So just a seeing eye base hit, and I think correct me if I'm wrong, all of the hits have gone to the left side here in this inning.
Yes, they have. That is a fact. So now we're going to see Zach Carty, runners on first and third. We'll see if the Crusaders choose to put on anything hanky. We saw Jimmy Nugent step out in front home plate. Let everyone know what the first and third play was. First pitch is going to be popped up into shallow left center field. Lucas Moore, Roddy Rachel on the chase. Rachel calls off Moore, have it for the third out. The Moeller Crusaders get 2 runs. They take the lead. It's 4-3. We're headed to the bottom half of the 5th. You're watching Chatterbox Live. Bottom half of the 5th we go out here at Alumni Field. Moeller Crusaders on top 4-3. Reid straight along here with Geoff Kim. This production is being produced by Justin Thomas and John Abney on the camera. Got a new arm to tell you about, Geoff.
Ryan Benny, 5'11", a senior right-hander, making his 4th appearance. He's pitched 6 innings, giving up 2 hits, 1 run. It's been earned, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts. He's 1-0 on the season, and he's got a fine 1.17 earned run average. And talking with Tim Held prior to the ball game, he called him the closer or the possible closer for today, and he's on in the late innings.
Yeah, got a little more velo than his body would suggest, right? I mean, a little bit of a shorter guy, but once again, similar to the adjective I gave to Nick Copenhaver earlier, how it just jumps out. You can see it just almost effortlessly jumping out, almost exploding out of his hand from Benny in these warm-up pitches. But Turkey will come out in line for the win.
Yes.
So they do have a 1-run lead if they should hold on in the bottom half of the 5th. Crowd out there down the third base line. It's a good, beautiful day at Alumni Field. So due up for the Badin Rams will be Bryson Fox. Then we go back to the top half of the order. So Fox will be tasked with facing Benny first.
We have books to close on this, so we'll close them here as we can. Nate Garkey pitched 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, strikeout, and he's in line for the win. And since we have time, we'll close the book on Nick Copenhaver. He went 4+, gave up 3 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 5 walks, and 6 strikeouts.
Both did just enough to keep their teams in this ballgame. Threw very well. Bit erratic at times for both starting pitchers, but kept it a low-scoring affair to this part in the ballgame. Now it's on for the bullpens to close the door. So Bryson Fox steps up. He had a base knock his first time. This is his 2nd trip up to the plate. Swings from the left side.
When you call basketball games, Reid, do you keep track of lead changes?
I do not.
So
Don't keep track of a whole lot during a basketball game.
So in the case of this game, as we're in the bottom of the 5th now, we've now had 3 lead changes. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think about it in basketball terms, that's like 10 lead changes in a ball game.
That's a lot. No doubt about it. And Geoff, if you're wondering, the ice cream man is coming is coming around. I don't know if the crowd might caught that or not. You see him back there behind the press box. But here comes the first pitch from Benny. Fouled straight back over on the CYO field. 1-0's the count to Fox. RBI single his last time. Benny kicks, deals, fouls it back, and Fox is late on the heater. 0-2.
Eight for 15 on the season, by the way.
See what he can do on the 0-2 counts. And I was able to get into the Badin dugout as I was here for most of the afternoon, and on their chart, on their bulletin board, they have their batting averages and different counts, whether it be from last year or this season, as this one's going to be fouled back, brings it to 1-2 once more. And the one striking thing, and this is no different to any splits you'll see at any level, when they have 2 strikes, whether it be with 0 balls, 1 ball, all the way up to 3 balls, their batting average is below 200. Even with a full count, 0-2. As this one's going to be a called strike 3 on the top half of the zone. So Fox is going to go down.
Center
I actually took a
fielder
picture of
Lucas
it.
Moore.
And yeah, after starting 0-2, their batting average is 157 of it as a team. Their on-base percentage is still only 165. So falling deep into that well, not where you want to be as a hitter.
So I had no idea that Brian Treadway was Billy Bean.
Here comes the first pitch to Lucas Morris. He shows a bunt.
And I wish it was a chart that you could share. I mean, this is really for our eyes only, but it's an amazing chart to look at, and you really understand strategy, because what you're doing at that point is you're building your team against those numbers.
Right. So the 1-0 misses, bringing it upstairs. Lucas Moore's been walked twice. The interesting thing on this chart is the difference between an 0-1 count and a 1-0 count isn't all that striking. So the first pitch doesn't matter tremendously as the 2-0 finds the strike zone. So after 1-0, it is 344 batting average. After 0-1, it's 324. It's after what happens on that second pitch is where the biggest difference matters. A difference of sometimes 200 points. So here comes the 2-1. That one doesn't find the strike zone, misses downstairs. Manley can't believe it as he held back the throw back to the pitcher, Benny.
Well, count is like series in baseball. You know, you typically have a 3-game series, but if you think of a long series in the postseason, a 7-game, right? What do you do in game number 2 after a win has been established by one team?
So here comes the 3-1, swung on and missed as that one was over the heart of the plate. But Moore couldn't find it, brings it to full.
By the way, nice comeback for Benny after going down 2-0, and he's come back to run this full. Full counts have really been the name of the game today.
3-2. One away to the leadoff hitter, Lucas Moore, Badin down a run in the bottom half of the 5th. Benny kicks, deals, fouled straight back. We'll do it again at full.
Unofficially, I count 9 full counts today. 9.
As I keep peering at this chart, the thing that I think is most eye-popping to me is when Badin gets 3-0, their on-base percentage is near 1, 9.89. Here comes the 3-2 as that one misses for ball 4.
That should be ball 4.
Yeah, that is ball 4 as Lucas Moore didn't even realize it. And he'll take first base. Think of that as when you didn't realize that you had $40 in your wallet, then you open it up, nice, I got some cash. It's free money, even though it was always there for you.
It's Schrodinger's wallet.
Right.
That's the 3rd walk issued by Moeller pitching today. So they've really done a good job of reducing any
So
mistakes.
all 3 happened to Lucas Moore.
Yeah.
So now we're going to see Jimmy Nugent. He is lined out and flown out. So the first pitch to the catcher. Fastball on the top of the zone that Nugent can't catch up to. 0-1's our count.
Was he a foot late on that one?
I don't know if a full foot, but was definitely
I mean, that fastball
well
was
behind.
that fastball was sneaky fast.
Short arms it, Benny does, and when a guy has velocity and he short arms it, it does sneak up on you. Think of some former closers, Trevor Rosenthal. He short-armed it, and they always talked about how he kind of snuck up on you. 1-1's the count. Breaking ball over the plate. 0-2 now.
On the notion of sneaky fast pitches, I think of Sergio Romo, who, of course, closed out some World Series for the Giants a handful of years ago. You know, not big in stature, but that fastball just kind of snuck up on guys. He's still pitching, by the way, on guile. I mean, what does he throw? Maybe 90? Maybe?
Sure. Yeah, not hard. And just after you've thrown so many innings in the bigs, you figure out a way to get outs. 1-2's the count to Jimmy Nugent. He's 0 for 2. Lucas Moore over there at first base. He's running, swinging a miss. Slides into second base. Nugent is out, but Moore is safe out there at second. So Landon Vitterick will come up to the plate with a chance to tie it up.
11th stolen base of the year for Lucas Moore.
So twice Jimmy Nugent was late on the fastball, never really caught up. We had a brief discussion with the starting shortstop, Landon Vitterick, before Vitterick stepped up to the plate. Coming into today, he was batting .417. He's 0 for 2, or 0 for 1, had a sac fly his last time up. See if he can bring in another. First pitch from Benny.
What's the old phrase that we like to hear, especially if you're the home team here? 2-out rally?
Yes, certainly love it. Everyone in the dugout finds a new spot to try and get something going, try to get some mojo going your way.
By the way, I know this show was on a while ago, over a decade ago, as I'll wait for the pitch.
Oh, Moore's going to be running. Manley can't get it out of his glove, so he steals third base. And the tying run, 90 feet away.
Were you familiar with the show My Boys that was on maybe about 10, maybe 12 years ago?
No.
Was that a little bit before your time?
I mean, I'm pretty well adversed with culture, but I do not know that.
So Jordana Spiro, who was the actress in there, played a Chicago Cubs sports writer.
Okay.
Well, I think I should give you these DVDs.
The 1-0 misses upstairs. You sold me already. Your elevator pitch working great, Geoff.
So the production company that produced My Boys, it ran for parts of 4 seasons, was a company called 2-Out Rally.
I love that. You sold me. I'm sold. As here comes the 2-0 to Landon Vitterick. And there for a called strike on the outside half. 2-1. Benny favoring the fastball, the heater, but not afraid to show some off speed.
One more note on My Boys. You familiar with the comedian Jim Gaffigan?
Yes.
He was a feature player in the first couple of seasons.
Okay. Well, here comes the 2-1. Downstairs brings it to 3-1. Rodney Rachel waits in the on-deck circle if we shall get to it. Lucas Moore, 90 feet away, in the form of the tying run in the bottom half of the 5th inning out at Alumni Field. The number 1 team in the state versus the number 3 in Division I and Division II. Landon Vitterick's going to step out of the batter's box. So I think they're saying it's 2-2 out on the field. I had it as 3-1 in my scorebook.
I did too.
As does the scoreboard. Here comes the payoff pitch, whatever it is, and it's waved at and missed for strike 3. Fastball blown by Landon Vitterick. We're heading to the top half of the 6th. Geoff Kim will take back over, and the Moeller Crusaders will look to close one out in the final 6 outs. Stay tuned. You're watching Chatterbox Live. And it's the top half of the 6th inning where Geoff Kim will take you the rest of the way. Geoff?
Reid, thank you very much. We've got a new pitcher out on the hill. Aiden Vanderhart, 6'3", a junior, lefty. Just making his 4th appearance, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 runs. Though none of those runs earned, 4 walks, 8 strikeouts. He's 0-1 on the season with no earned run average. His last time out against Marlington back on the 16th, 1 2/3 innings pitched. He gave up 3 hits, 3 runs, none of them earned, a walk, and struck out 4. Actually, he does have a loss to his record. He's 0-1 on the season.
New pitcher for the Rams, number 44, Aiden Vanderhatter.
So Vanderhatter is a basketball player. Played a lot for the Rams this past winter. First time I'm seeing him out on the bump, though.
Looking to see what kind of stuff the lefty has.
Katie.
And he's got a lot of capital letters, by the way, in his last name. Vanderhatter is V with a capital V, A-N, and then a capital D-E. And the first pitch misses away, ball 1. And then Hatter is spelled H-A, and the H is capitalized, H-A-T-E-R-T.
See, some German names are just too complicated. Sometimes you just need to have 4 letters
preferably after a rodent. Like, that's all you need.
Griff Katie lines one into right field. That's a base hit. On a 1-0 pitch, he lines one into right, his second hit of the ball game.
So you mentioned about Moeller. They've won 10 in a row, dating all the way back to 2009. And I think they've won every game besides that one back in 2009.
Right
This
fielder,
century, this
Conlon
millennia,
Daniel.
in the past 2 decades. And it's always been a close game. It truly has, between Moeller and Badin. The difference has always been when you get to the second or third pitcher, Moeller's has always been just that much deeper. I remember playing Moeller a few times, and when I was here at Badin,
Called strike.
and every time our starting pitcher got us to about the 5th inning, and then the relief pitchers came in for both teams, and they just had a few more guys.
So Conlon Daniel squares the bunt, and he pushes one first base side. It's a good one, and he is out of the base paths, I think, and he's called out. So 3 unassisted on the out play, and the sacrifice that allows the lead runner, Katie, to move up 90 feet.
Yeah, so they're saying he got him on the tag, just dribbled it down the first base line. Chorley did a good job slapping it on Daniel.
So one down here in the visiting 6th, and Keelan Daniel is up at the plate. So Keelan had apparently come in for C.J. Richard a while back. Conlon had been in the ball game, and of course, when you have guys with similar sounding first names and the same last name, and they are brothers indeed, that's where our confusion was, and I think we've gotten that straightened out now, 1-0. So Keelan got a base hit back in the last frame in the 5th and came around to score one of the 2 runs that scored and pushed across back in the visiting 5th to give Moeller the lead, and foul back to the screen. We even up. Daniel to be fouled by Toby Huber. A note that head coach Tim Held had given us, and we can't say this about the batter at the plate in Daniel, but we could say it about the player that he had replaced in C.J. Richard, as well as Toby Huber, who's waiting on deck. Those 2 young men have the green light anytime, and both those players are already in double figures this year in stolen bases.
Yeah, we saw that earlier from both guys, just not only the green light on the base pass, but had the green light at the plate too. I mean, a clear bunting situation for C.J. Richard earlier in the ball game, and he was swinging away all the way. They were letting him use his bat.
1-2 the count here in the visiting 6th, 4-3 Moeller. The number 1 team in the state, living up to advanced billing for sure. Vander Hitter deals, and this one's in the air, popped foul off the right side. Did he get the out? He did! A beauty of a play by the first baseman right up against the fence. And Caleb Chorley, you can put a star on that one, 2 out.
Yeah, great play there, working down the line. So you can't see it on your screen, but there's a little bit of, carpet
Second baseman,
still associated with the
Huber.
dugout coming out of the shed of where, they keep the lawnmower and the rider, which, drags the field, the gator that drags the field. And that's where Chorley had to run down. He didn't come into the dugout because that's out of play. But he did make a play just on the edge of it.
Strike 1, a foul back to the screen for Toby Huber. Got a hit, came around to score in the last frame. He scored the go-ahead run so far in this one to make it 4-3. He was hit by a pitch, left stranded back in the 3rd inning, and then struck out swinging back in the 1st. So officially 1 for 2 on the day for the 2-way player, Toby Huber. And the next offering is a called strike, a beauty slider there by Vander Hader, 0-2.
Now what do you come with here? Just showed to get him over, breaking ball. Got ahead on the first pitch. Lefty against righty. Something going away from it possibly.
So do you waste a pitch in this situation on 0-2?
I'm not a fan of wasting. Every pitch should show a purpose, right?
Fastball. No call. No call. It's funny. Nugent tried to sell it. Vander Hader was walking off the mound. I don't know if that's showing up the home plate umpire, Wayne Daggs, but if this was the pro game, I would expect the next pitch would be a ball, even if it was through the heart of the plate.
Yeah, umpires don't typically like that. Nugent first thought it was a strike called, then he thought it was a check swing for sure that went past the point of no return. And neither of those calls. So now we're going to have to do it with 1-2. Now, if karma is a thing in baseball, which sometimes it is, we'll see it right here.
1-2 the count. The deal, there's the called third strike. And the side's retired. A hitter runner left. We played 5.5. 4-3 Moeller here on Chatterbox Live.
2 p.m. tomorrow. Sunday, we'll be completing the suspended game with Fenwick here starting at 1 p.m. And
So the home 6 we go. Ryan Benny on for his second inning of work. 4-3, the number 1 team in the state, the Moeller Crusaders. In Division I, we caveat, leading number 3 in Division II, Badin, by a run. This has gone exactly as well as we thought. Benny looked awfully good in the last frame, as he did strike out the side, as it turned out. He worked around a walk to Lucas Moore to get 3 strikeouts in the last frame, and he'll go to work here in the 6th. Partner, as we think about Ryan Benny and what Tim Held had told us prior to the ball game, he did want Benny to close. Now, if he has an easy inning here, do you think he'll come back out for the 7th as well?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, you mentioned that they wanted him to get in this game. They have a lot of confidence in him in late inning situation, high intensity, high leverage situations. Benny's their guy, one of their guys that's going to come in and shut the door for you. And he's got the talent to. I mean, you saw him warm up. You saw him strike out the side last time. Badin's got to find a way to manufacture a run if they want to stay in this one. Right here in the 6th. And you would like to, if you're Badin, you'd like to get 2 here so you can go into the 7th inning with a chance to win it.
We just saw Brian Treadway cross home plate to go to the third base coaching box. He won his 200th career victory just a little over a week ago, April 12th, a week ago Tuesday. The Rams blew out Carroll 15-2. He's been the head coach since 2012. He is 201 right now, by the way, 201 and 82, as we have 4, 5, and 6 coming up here in the home 6th. Rodney Rachel to the plate. He's doubled in 2 times to the plate as he swings on the first offering and lines it softly to the first baseman. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Yeah, just didn't fully commit to a swing. Check swung, found the barrel, just like he said, didn't fully commit to it. You know, you mentioned that about Brian Treadway winning his 200th game. He's the 3rd consecutive Badin baseball coach to win 200 games. Rick Kunkel, who still sits over there in the first base dugout and does a great job at maintaining this field. He won 200-plus games, as did the coach before him back in the 90s.
Who is so far nameless.
Right. His head's big enough. We don't need to mention Mark Mouse on this broadcast.
Ball 1 to Caleb Chorley, who has grounded out twice in 2 plate appearances. Has some thunder in the bat, has homered this year. And the 1-0 pitch cuts through the heart of the plate. We even up.
So you mentioned the 2009 team that went and beat Moeller. That was the only team in Badin history to actually sweep the entire GCL South. And they went on to the state finals and lost for the 2nd straight year. You can see their flag out in right center field, 2009 state Final Four.
You know, the heritage of both schools from a baseball standpoint is just amazing. We had talked a little bit about major league lineage a little bit before on the behalf of Moeller, but state championships and Final Four appearances have been something. And we'll get to that here again in a second. Here's the pitch by Benny as a fastball rides high, and we even up 2-2. As I count them, 12 or 13 Final Four appearances since 1975 for Badin.
I'm not sure the exact number. I believe it's 13.
I have it written as 12, but I seem to recall it being 13. And the fastball rides high, and we go full. And yet again, another full count opportunity. Of course, the last one coming last year. That was a fun bunch, the Running Rams. Time called by the catcher at home plate, Nathan Manley, who's going to Wright State on scholarship. A lot of players from both sides sending kids to college to play at the next level.
Yeah, Badin currently has over 20 guys playing college ball. Moeller has over 20 as well. So 40 combined, over 40 guys playing college baseball from these two schools actively.
The payoff. Got him.
Great pitch. Fastball on the outside half. Chorley was, just standing there. That's something that you got to foul off. You got to be waiting for the fastball. And that's what he's shown other pitches, but he likes his fastball, right? That's what you've got to be looking for. And let almost, at least early in the count, be fooled. And then when there's 2 strikes, you cannot be taking a fastball on the outside half there.
Ryan Benny has put on a clinic here in 1 2/3 so far. He's only given up a walk, has struck out 4 so far as he goes to work on the 6th place hitter, Cooper Fear. Cooper had a RBI, a sac fly back in the 2nd, and he got on base on a hit back in the 4th, so officially 1 for 1. Ball 1 outside. Should he get on, it'll be Diego DiCello.
Crucial at bat here for Badin, not only for a 2-out rally to get a run, but you really want to get a chance to get to the top of the order next inning. And if Cooper Fear gets up, they will at least get to the top of the order in the 7th.
By the way, that might have been the prettiest pitch of the whole afternoon that was thrown by Benny. 2 playing curveball that went from out of the strike zone to the inner half. 1-1 the count. Here comes Benny. Here comes the fastball and a strike.
Yeah, he's been calling these upstairs pitches all day. He really has. And he's just expanding his zone as the game progresses. You saw the upstairs fastball right there.
Ryan Benny has Cooper Fear where he wants him. 1-2 the count. The full wind and the pitch, and we'll do it again. Cooper trying to get on track, and I guess we had mentioned the last time around that were good luck charms for him. He had hit .390 a year ago, if I recall, and had been really just an outstanding player at the Keystone. Actually, it's the hot corner. The Keystone is second base. So 1-2 as we do it again. The pitch, and it got him. Curveball did not curve, and we got a base runner.
Turned right into it, didn't get out of the way, and I mentioned it before that at bat, and I'll say it again. That's so crucial, getting Diego DiCello up, because that gets Badin to the top of the order in the 7th, at least, right? You want to get a 2-out rally here, but that allows them to get to Lucas Moore in the 7th inning.
And talking with Brian Treadway prior to the ballgame, we had talked about turning over the lineup. And when you have players at the bottom of the lineup, as we get towards the bottom, right, because Bryson Fox has had an excellent day in the 9-hole today, when you have that, then it just makes your ability to score that much easier, because you're always worried about putting runners on base if you're the opposition, and when the other team has a running game, you're always in the catcher's head at that point. So a little conference call quickly broken up as Nathan Manley wanted to talk to Ryan Benny. Talking about some of the players that are going places. C.J. Richard to Ohio State, Toby Huber to George Mason, Keelan Daniel to Findlay, Connor Christensen to Air Force. We mentioned Manley. Griff Katie's going to Winona State. A little funny story about Winona here in just a second. And the fastball rides high. Had a little extra snap on that one, 1-0. So Winona State, do you know where that's at?
No clue.
Minnesota.
Okay.
And why is Winona, the city, and the college famous? As we await on the 1-0, the fastball caught the outside edge. We even up.
Winona Ryder?
Winona Ryder was named after the city.
Well, there we go.
Of course,
Stranger Things comes out next month.
I'm sorry?
Stranger Things comes out next month.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm not caught up on that. I go way back with Winona Ryder to the movie Heathers.
Yes. The Mean Girls of the 80s.
That is well put, as we have the throw over to first, and back in with a head first slide is Fear. 4-3 is your score here at Alumni Field. We've had a really fun one today. Fastball swung on and fouled away. We do it again.
If you're DeCello, you've seen Benny work the fastball against righties. I don't recall what he's thrown to a whole lot of left-handers. I know he struck out Vitterick on the high fastball. This is stuff that you got to catalog when you're in the dugout. You've got to see what he's throwing in certain situations.
Just missed.
Home plate umpire zone, you can tell it's shifted, right? It's just probably about 2 inches raised of what it should be, right? He's missed the downstairs pitches often. He's called the upstairs pitches often.
2-2 to count to DeCello. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Ryan Benny works around a hit by pitch, and we go to the visiting 7th. 4-3 Moeller on Chatterbox Live. To the 7th we go, 4-3. Badin trying to hold on, keep the game to 1 run, and have some hope in the bottom of the frame. Along with Reid Mouse, the mighty one. I'm Geoff Kim. Thanks for joining us here on Chatterbox Live. I think, Reid, I have to call you Santa Claus to a certain extent because, again, I go back.
Gave you a gift.
You gave me a gift on Monday when you said, how would you like to do Moeller Badin? And how fast was my response?
It was very quick. You know, not as quick as your response to say that you couldn't do the game on Wednesday when I was dying. I was sick as a dog, and you left me out to dry, but I manned my way through it, and I'm a better man because of it. So I thank you for that, Geoff.
In fairness, you know, the whole thing of having a day job and having deadlines, unfortunately, comes into play. To reset, as we look at the Badin defense, Rodney Rachel in left, Lucas Moore in center, Bryson Fox in right, Cooper Fear at third, Landon Vitterick the shortstop, Diego DeCello at second, Caleb Chorley, who made that fine defensive play in the last frame at first base, Jimmy Nugent catching, Hayden Vanderhader for a second inning. Here comes Nate Early, 3-4-5 for Moeller, and the first pitch line back up the middle, glove by the second baseman DeCello. He throws to first, it's a little high and off Chorley's glove, and we've got a base runner to lead things off.
So DeCello had to rush that throw. The problem with when he rushed it is he didn't plant his feet. He was too worried about getting it out of his glove and throwing it over towards first base that he didn't plant his feet and give a good hard strike over to first. It would have been bang-bang if he did collect his feet. It probably was his only chance.
We're going to call that an infield base hit, by the way. The 6th hit of the ball game for Moeller. Neither team has put up much of offense up on the board. The offense for Moeller, by the way, has come through walks. And the first pitch is a called strike to Blaine Schmidt, 0-1.
Yeah, free passes. They win ball games, right? When you have more free passes than your opponent, you put yourself in a good opportunity to win.
This one left outside, 1-1.
It's almost become a meme, you know, the Moneyball thing, right? I mean, ever since the book came out, since the movie came out, like, oh, he gets on base. That's the meme about it all. But it's true, right? When you get the free passes, when you find yourself getting more walks in their team, you got a better chance to win.
Down in the dirt, nicely recovered by Nugent, 2-1. To your point, the old adage, a walk is as good as a hit, no longer applies. A walk may actually be better than a hit because of the damage it does to the opposing pitcher.
Right, makes him throw more pitches more often than not. It's a psychological thing. And that's the thing. It's two-pronged about walks and the free passes. It's not just when you're hitting there you want to get more walks, but when you limit yourself out in the field, when you have a pitcher that commands the strike zone, you just have a far superior, and I know it's rhetorical, right, but you have a far superior chance of winning.
Back to the screen. Count remains 2-2. Schmidt at the plate, early over at first, being held on by Chorley. And by the way, again, an inning later, still a dandy that Charlie put up defensively. The throw of first, and back with the head first slide is early. A little bit more on Brian Treadway, by the way. We had mentioned that he'd gotten his 200th career win a week ago Tuesday. You mentioned Rick Kunkel, who won 234. Of course, his predecessor did pretty well. Had a couple state titles. We go full. Another full count, by the way.
Yes.
What is that, number 12?
I haven't been keeping track, but I'm sure the tallies have gotten high.
Pitch counts are going to be really interesting to look at after this ball game. The long look at first. Vanderhader comes plateward, and it's a bouncing ball. Fear on the run, and he'll have to eat it. It died in the grass. Off that first bounce, it just died. It's almost like it hit a wet sponge out there down the third baseline, and that's an infield base hit.
Yeah, second time that we've saw a tough play in the infield right now. First with Diego DiCello, then with the chopper over to Cooper Fear. And that was a tough play. You know, when you're coming in on a run like there, you have very, very small room for error. You've got to put it from glove to hand and throw it on the run. And now they're going to be talking, because I believe the security alarm here at the press box was just going off, and could also be the smoke that is flown around, as you can see it on your screen right
Wafting.
now.
Connor Christensen.
Yeah.
You know, my hope, Reid, is that, A, we're not having to report news, and 2, that we're not part of a news story.
Well, that's just the grill masters getting after it. We wish to go to this camera angle more often, but transmitters don't always get as far as we like them to do. We're pushing them to almost 440 feet.
Hefty.
Yes.
So Christensen got a piece of it on a bunt attempt, and it's back to the screen, strike one.
And our press box, though it smells heavenly, has fully immersed itself in smoke.
Charlie's in on the grass at first, expecting a bunt, and this fastball rides high.
Now keep an eye out there at second base. You see Nate Early out there. They're going to try and bunt him over, but I mentioned this in previous broadcasts. It's a great opportunity for a catcher to backpick somebody. Oftentimes these base runners are trying to get the next base, trying to, you know, almost get an advantage getting to the next base. Chance to catch them sleeping out there on the bases.
Oh, good bunt. First base side. Charlie over to the covering DiCello, and everybody else moves up 90 feet.
That's small ball. You got a one run lead. You're heading towards the bottom half of your order. You get your first two guys up. You got to bunt them over to second and third. Add on, get some insurance. You've got a great contact guy and a great ball player, Nathan Manley, coming up. See if he can get the job done, and Badin's infield is going to come in
The
here.
catcher, Nathan Manley.
So the play's going to be at the plate.
So if you're scoring with us at home, 3-4 on the sacrifice. And by the way, that's an old Vin Scully adage, right? If you're scoring with us at home. However, are you familiar with Keith Olbermann?
I am, yes.
As the infield comes in on the lip of the grass, and a called strike. So Olbermann, back in his ESPN SportsCenter days, had perverted that phraseology about scoring at home or if you're on your own. Take with it what you will. Foul back. 0-2, just that fast to Manley. Moeller comes in, 10-1 their record, 4-1 in the conference. Their only loss to St. Xavier a couple of days ago, in which Max Tramontana, who has been just something close to unhittable, gave up a 2-run bomb to Max Clare in the first, and that changed the complexion of the game early on. Swing and a miss. 2 down.
It's huge. Runners on second and third, you needed a strikeout there. You really didn't even want a ground ball, because Nate Early with some speed, it would have been a bang-bang play at home. You get the strikeout. Really, good morning, good afternoon, good night. A huge bat there, or a huge strikeout there from Nathan, from Vanderhader.
Clay Burdette.
So Clay Burdette will pinch hit. .333 batter, 5 hits and 15 times to the plate for Burdette. Righty batter checks in. And the first pitch is a called strike to the newcomer Burdett. Burdett plays both ways. He will play the field as an infielder, and he will pitch. He's already pitched in a couple of games this year, pitching almost 9 innings. So Burdett pinch hitting for Zach Carty, who started as the DH today. And here's the 0-1 offering, and he offers up at it, and now Burdett's in a big hole.
Yeah, great fastballs. First the challenge that he took, and then getting a little aggressive, just keep climbing the ladder. Now you go with something downstairs to change eye levels, possibly even change speeds, but that fastball's just been working for him.
Burdett, a big hit at 6'2", 215, and the fastball down, a little too low, 1-2. 6'2", 215, committed to The Ohio State University. How would you like to have a scholarship player starting your game on the bench in what may be the biggest non-conference game you have all year?
That's certainly something, isn't it?
I'm going to butcher a phrase somewhere, but I'm kind of reminded about the spoils that victors get. I think that's what it comes right down
spoils
to.
of war, right?
Sound like a history major there.
Broadcast journalism, so close.
1-2. And he puts it in play, foul down the first baseline. We'll do it again. Should Burdett reach, it'll be Griff Cady. The one thing about this game, even though we've had an enjoyable time, we've had a little bit, like you had mentioned a few innings ago, a little bit of everything, is that these games do tend to get played pitch by pitch. And what does that mean? We have long games. And, of course, when you have 12 at-bats that go to full counts, a lot of pitches.
It has been a long game. Hasn't felt like one. It's been such a hotly contested. Did not enjoy your. Don't hate your time here.
Well, I think you exactly nail it, right? You put the nail on the head on that one. You could be in a one-run game that goes 2.5 hours or more at this level and feel like you want more. But if you have a game that might go sub-2 and it's a run rule that doesn't become the run rule until late, you feel like you don't want to say you've wasted your time, but you feel like maybe you could have invested somewhere else. And this one lifted foul off the right side. We'll do it again. Deuce is wild. 2-2 the count with 2 out and 2 men on for Moeller. You got deuces everywhere.
It's the payoff pitch, right?
Two and two. Breaking ball, just missing a bit downstairs and outside. Not enough of either to get to the home plate, and we go full.
Yeah, Nugent gave a good look there behind the plate. Just didn't break all the way back to get over the plate. You're working a breaking pitch, arm side. It's going to come back across. It didn't. Nugent did a good job giving a good look, but the umpire didn't pull the trigger.
This is the pitch of the game right here. Payoff. Got him! And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Can Badin come all the way back? They're down by a run here as we head to the bottom of the frame on Chatterbox Live. To the bottom of the 7th we go, 8-9-1 coming up for Badin. Their last gasp at a win against #1 Moeller here on Chatterbox Live. Along with Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff Kim. We'll see if it's Ryan Benny on for his 3rd inning of work. It is. And looking at what's coming up on the schedule for both teams. Of course, Moeller today, if you're Badin, and then you got North Canton Hoover coming up tomorrow. On Sunday, you got Fenwick, and then you got a big conference game, Chaminade-Julienne, on Monday. On the other side, it's Dublin-Scioto tomorrow, and then LaSalle coming up on Monday. So a day off on Sunday for Moeller, as both teams have a really tight schedule the next few weeks.
Look at the bottom of the 7th, 1-run ball game. 2 of the best teams in the state. You can't ask for much more.
No, in fact, we were just looking at the clock here. It's 7:25 locally. So this game has gone 2 hours and 25 minutes, and we're not done yet. And there is a threat of extra innings if we can see Badin push across a run. So a long game to be short, but this feels kind of, Reid, without the hate, this feels kind of Yankees Red Sox in a way, just by the pitch-by-pitch mentality.
There's a little more hate than this game has led on to. There's no doubt about that. But it's so crucial for Badin if they want to get a run across. One of these first two batters, one of these bottom of the order guys, they got to get on.
Brady Imhoff to lead off. And a line shot base hit on the first pitch. So the tying run reaches first base on the 5th base hit of the day for the Badin Rams.
Don't need to kill it. Just need to hit them where they ain't. Did exactly that. Now you're going to see Bryson Fox bunt him over.
To reset,
Right fielder
Moeller
Bryson Fox.
has 4 runs today on 7 base hits. They've left 5 on. On the other side for Badin, that was their 5th base hit. They've got 3 runs, so 3 runs, 5 base hits, and they've left 1 runner on base today. 1. Bunt situation, Fox offers and fouls it at the plate, strike 1.
Got a bunch of strikes. That was borderline. Certainly not one you don't regret offering at, but you can't give them something.
Bryson had an RBI single back in the 3rd. He stole 2nd and later came around in that 3rd inning in which Badin played it 2. Here's a throw over to first, and back standing is Imhoff.
Take a gander over at Blaine Schmidt at 3rd base. Look how far he's in. He's 10 feet in front of the cutout designated for the 3rd baseman. You're Fox, you're lefty. Easier to pull bunt, or actually it's easier to push bunt. It's harder to pull bunt.
Fastball away, and they throw back to first, and nowhere near in time as Imhoff is back standing.
There's Manley telling you exactly what I was alluding to earlier in the ball game, and that was how you're going to see different. You're going to get a chance to throw a back pick. It looks like we are going to see Mark Holderbach. Yeah, Mark Holderbach going there to run for Brady Imhoff.
So one right fielder replaces another as Holderbach's in the pitch run.
Number 11,
Senior
Mark Holderbach.
has stolen 3 bases.
So this is what's tough. Blaine Schmidt's coming in from 3rd base, and you're a leftier. You're used to, pushing a bunt down the 3rd baseline. You've got to pull it now based on where Schmidt is, or you're giving yourself up for a double play opportunity. Meanwhile, Moeller's going to be pitching you nothing but pitches on the outside because they know you need to pull bunt.
Again, shows bunt, and it's outside 2-1. Well, it's one thing if you're setting up away and bringing in Schmidt, but if you're not throwing strikes for Fox to offer at, then what good is that?
No, you can't walk them. And I imagine now 2-1, they're not even going to get to that point. They're going to give something a lot more buntable.
And he puts one down. It's fair. It's in play, and the play is to first. And with one away, Holderbach moves up to 2nd, and he's in scoring position with the tying run.
Good job by Fox. Getting it not right to Schmidt. That's your only objective. You cannot bunt it back to the pitcher. You cannot bunt it to Schmidt right away. Made the catcher come out in front of home plate, make the play, and Manley does a good job. And even better was Schmidt hustling back to 3rd because it was unaccompanied.
So Lucas Moore to be followed by Jimmy Nugent, the last gasp here for the Badin Rams here in this ball game. And it's been a wonderful game to be a part of. It's also been a wonderful game to be a spectator given just the conditions today. Game time temperature was 77 degrees. We have a little push breeze into the press box, which is great for us because we're not stifled by any means. However, it's not so good if you're a power hitter because balls are going to get knocked down in the outfield. Moore at 2nd. Foul back to the screen, strike 1.
This is what you paid $270 for cleats for. This opportunity right here.
Lucas Moore amazed the baseball world locally a year ago with his 51 stolen bases, school record. Part of a team record in stolen bases a year ago. The Badin running Rams. Here's the offering and foul back, and just like that, Lucas Moore is down 0-2.
Walked his first 3 times up. Worked a full count in all 3 of those times. Has never fallen behind 0-2 today.
He's got to work back. And I draw back to what we talked about earlier a few innings ago, the batting average when this team falls 0-2, 157.
Officially no at-bats today for Lucas Moore. As you mentioned, walked all 3 times. He's got a couple of stolen bases. He stole second and third back in the 5th inning. A base hit of any distance will tie up the ball game. Holder back with the lead off a second. The strike 2 offering. Bring him up.
Right over the plate. Backdoor bender. He was thinking fastball all the way, saw spin, and his brain immediately told him lay off, lay off, lay off. It was just right over the heart of the plate. Would have been a good pitch to offer out. Now it comes down to Jimmy Nugent.
That's a 6th strikeout this afternoon for the stopper here in this one today in Ryan Benny. So as you mentioned, partner, Jimmy Nugent's the last guest for the running Rams. Moeller looking to extend its winning streak in the series to 11, and there's a called strike, so says Wayne Daggs, 0-1.
That's a good get him over. Jimmy Nugent was not going to swing at anything with spin. He saw it right away, laid off. That's the wise move in this situation. Don't hit any breaking pitches early in the count. Beautiful job by Benny.
Nugent has 6 doubles on the year. He's hoping to get 7, but he'll settle for a base hit to extend the ball game, if nothing else. How would you like to have that concentration of extra base hits against total hits? 75% coming in. Fastball missing down and away, 1-1.
Didn't miss by a whole lot. Working that outside half. Great pitch. Nugent's at a much better hitter's count.
One and one with Landon Virick waiting on deck. Swing and a miss, and Badin's down to the last strike.
Similar pitch that he saw the first one he saw in this at bat. A little further inside, swung over top of it, gave it all. With 1 strike, swung for the fences, and that's what they tell you to do until you get 2 strikes. Now he's got to choke up. Keep the inning alive. You're telling yourself, just don't be that last out. Let it go 1 more inning, 1 more batter.
1 and 2 the count, and now Nugent will call for time.
I believe he's calling time for plane flying overhead.
Nugent waits, and the pitch of the game right here. Popped up and fouled out of play. We'll do it again.
Fastball upstairs. Sets up in terms of, the theory of effective velocity. After you give a hard fastball up at your eyes, you're not going to be working on something breaking ball away. Now, he's been favoring his breaking ball towards the inside of the plate. But with 2 strikes and 1 ball, you've got to work away from the barrel.
Benny has been excellent in relief. Holderbach at second waiting. Here's the 1-2, and it's in the air, popped up. The catcher has a bead on it, and he records the final out. A beauty here at Alumni Field. 4-3, Moeller wins this afternoon.
Final score from Alumni
So
Field,
Nathan Manley
Moeller
puts it
4,
away,
Badin 3.
and excellent pitching
Again,
down
we're
the
back
stretch for Ryan Benny.
Here at
3
Alumni
shutout
tomorrow
innings.
at 2 p.m.
As it
First
looked
pitch,
like
North
Badin was
Canton
about to
Hoover, 2
roll and
p.m.
start
tomorrow.
rolling with the offense. Benny
Thank
shut
you
them down the
for
last
your
3
support
frames,
of
and they
Benny
hold on for a
Baseball.
1-run game.
And
Yeah,
have
that's
a
what you
good
want.
evening.
You talked to Coach Held before the game, mentioned how Benny was going to be a guy that's going to come and relieve, and he did exactly what he wanted him to do. He came in, shut the door down, and the one thing that Benny did, and I didn't get a chance to talk about this, he had control of the game. He worked with a confidence, he worked with an authority, and he worked with a pace that let him constantly be in control of the game. That's what you want out of a pitcher. That's what you want out of an arm. You want a guy who commands the game. There's very few positions that control every aspect or start every play quite like a starting pitcher does or a relief pitcher does. And Benny did a good job shutting the door tonight.
An excellent pitch game. The win goes to Nate Garkey, who started and pitched 4 innings. The loss goes to Nick Copenhaver, and Ryan Benny gets a save. Time now for our play of the game, powered by Headline Sportswear. Partner, what's your pick?
And then when Moeller took the lead, right? Gonna have to look back at my scoreboard, but
first as baseball player, then a broadcaster.
yeah, it had to have been when Moeller took the 4-3 lead, going back and forth, 5th inning of work, and Moeller took the lead and just didn't look back.
So that's our play of the game, powered by Headline Sportswear. I think if it means anything to you, I think a consolation prize should go to Ryan Benny, because in that 5th inning, when Badin last threatened on the Bates pass, Benny came in and struck out the side. He worked around a walk in the middle of that frame, but the point is, Benny shut the door, and that was the last time that Badin threatened in that ball game.
Yeah, out of all the great performances you see, and when you see two good teams, you're going to see a bunch of great ball players. And often they overshine one another, but Benny shined the brightest tonight in shutting down the door after Moeller took the lead, giving Garkey the win.
So Garkey improves to 2-0 on the season. A first save for Ryan Benny. And the loss goes to Nick Copenhaver. He is 0-1 on the season. Game time, as we're trying to look here, as we try to put a wrapper on this, went unofficially 2 hours and 30 minutes on this one. And a good house here at Alumni Field. In fact, both schools really did a great job in bringing their own to support their own for a fabulous game that was decided only at the very end, 4-3. Final thoughts on this one?
Two teams that are going to try and make deep runs in this postseason. Moeller's been fantastic to start this year. They're obviously excited not only for the team that they have, they finally got their own home stadium. Badin looking to get back to the state Final Four, a lot of the same pieces that they had from a season ago. Two great teams, 2 great games. It's just great to see these 2 teams play again.
Partner, it was fun, and I can't wait to do this again. And since you're now officially my Santa Claus, I'm going to say thank you, Santa.
Well, you're welcome.
Again,
you get a lump of coal next to you.
Yes. Again, the final this afternoon. Moeller wins 4-3. The win to Nate Garkey, 2-0. Ryan Benny gets his first save of the year. And Luke, beg your pardon, Nick Copenhaver drops to 0-1. As Moeller improves to 11-1. Badin falls to 7-2. Thanks to John Abney to run the cameras today, and to our producer, Justin Thomas. For Santa Claus, my main man, the mighty one, Reid Mouse, I'm Geoff Kim. We say thank you and good night from Fairfield.